What better way to start a stream than Sour getting smited by Nightbot? Well, well, well. Alright, hello everybody. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Yes, your first exposure to this new group is their graffiti screen. It's becoming a tradition, so I'm enjoying it. Yeah, welcome to our new campaign, Whispers in the Woods. Hello, Aiden. Welcome. We're having a bit of technical difficulties earlier, but we are here now. That's why we started a little bit late, but we're here now. So I don't mind Jay Bozier. It's all good. They can scribble on them all they want. It's part of the fun. I like seeing how this screen progresses over the course of a campaign as it just gets more and more doodled to the point where it starts to lag my Roll20. All right. Well, my players have told me that they are ready. So if chat is ready as well. Yeah, they've really gotten started with quite a few doodles. They're gonna run out of space soon, so they better watch it.
Want to get some animated assets to put on here.
Oh god, that'll lag it like immediately. One animated asset will start everybody lagging, so it'll lag you guys too. So you better be aware. All right, chat. If you guys are ready, then how about we get started? Today, our travels take us not to the mainland, but instead far overseas. Far to the west of the mainland, past the Sea of Cassis, we come to the land of elves. Vast forests teeming with exotic creatures, towering mountains that reach the clouds, and immaculate cities bustling with elven folk. This kingdom is a vast continent the elves call home. The High Elves of High Hestala, the Wood Elves of Lysindriel, and the Lunar Elves of Hanatuaria, each ancestral origin finds their place in these lands. Welcome to the Feylands. Welcome to Kael Taihera.
Intro was really good.
In particular, we are brought just south of the rocky plateaus of the Serhitha Highlands, and just west of a mirrored city on the stony white bluffs, Hanatuaria. Today, we find ourselves brought to the Athentari Plains. An open grassland of rolling green knolls. Within the plains lies our destination, Sleepy Hills. A humble rest stop, built to aid travelers in restocking on their journeys, Sleepy Hills is a quiet and peaceful settlement. Today, we follow a collision course of 4 individuals, linked by some strange occurrence, and each summoned to Sleepy Hills by a letter they received. Seeking answers, these 4 agreed to a meeting in a small tavern in Sleepy Hills, arranged by the same men who sent those very letters. Now, we are brought to the soft rocking of a small wooden ferry as it gently brushes against the western shore of a river. Stepping off onto solid ground is a tall man, clad in robes. His hair is dark and falls to his shoulders. He wears a hood pulled up over his head, but if one looks carefully, they can see his pale features, dark eyes, and pointed ears. The quiet silence of a light summer's breeze is cut through by the voice of the ferryman. What's your name again, friend?
Yes, it's Draven Duskmore.
Alright, well, Draven, safe journeys, friend. Thanks for your
Yes.
patronage. Need to go back the other way. I'll be right here.
Much appreciated, sir.
Have a
You
safe
have a
trip.
fine day.
You as well. And so, Draven, you make your way. Let me get you your name tag. You make your way down the dirt path towards the location that is your destination, where you were told to meet by the letter you received, which is the Gilded Guest Tavern in Sleepy Hills Rest Stop.
Alright, Draven's gonna continue down the path and just kind of eye the mark on his hand every now and then.
You eye that golden mark on your hand from time to time. Every once in a while, it has a slight ache to it, but it soon fades. It sits there like a tattoo, as if it was tattooed in liquid gold. But you make your way down the path towards Sleepy Hills, through these rolling meadowlands. The sounds of the stream fading behind you as you go. And as you travel, hills on either side, and just over the horizon, some buildings. You hear all of a sudden something that freezes you in in the spot where you stand. Off to your right, in the thicket of trees, you hear the cracking of branches in the underbrush. And suddenly, darting out of the grass, at top speed and squealing, is a boar. It pays you no mind and sprints across the open field. And then, as it does, you hear another sound from off to your right. And tumbling her way out of the underbrush as well is a half-orc woman. She also at full tilt as she chases after this boar. And as she does, you see her hurl a throwing axe that whizzes right past your face at the boar. What would either of you like to do?
Does she hit the boar?
She does not.
Yes, it appears your quarry is escaping.
What type of fool can't grab the pig?
Certainly. Draven's gonna try to throw a dagger at the pig.
Alright, go for it.
Uh, 10.
Alright, your throwing dagger goes sailing off and embeds itself into some grass nearby. And the
Of course it does.
pig, still squealing, keeps running off into the distance.
Yes, was that important? Are you starving? Do you need food?
Type
I
of
have
fool
some
can't hit a
rations.
viewers. I don't want your pity.
You know, there's a town ahead, perhaps an inn. You can get food there. No need to hunt.
Thanks, fool.
Certainly.
Can't grab.
Draven, as she walks past you, make a perception roll for me.
Am I good with my hood up, so no disadvantage or anything?
You're all good.
Oh boy.
Alright, you don't notice a thing and you keep walking.
Oh yes, my dagger. Just gonna go pick up this dagger. And
You pull the dagger out of the dirt and wipe it off
You
slightly
lost
on
me
your
my
robes.
pig. You can at least give me the dagger. That's some repayment.
You're an interesting fellow indeed. Perhaps you could explain to me why you want my dagger. You seem to be using
You lost
axes.
my pig. I don't even
Hmm.
want the dagger. This is just for payment. You lost my pig, and you won't even tell me your name, so now your name is Fool. You have terrible etiquette.
Perhaps you should introduce yourself when asking for another's name. I'm waiting.
You can't make me lose a pig twice, sir.
Fine. My name is Draven, and yours?
Oh, Drave, it's so nice to meet you. I am Martos.
A pleasure.
Now can I get the dagger?
Yes, why don't we go to town first?
Ow. Let's go. I'm in. Why wouldn't you buy me a boar while we're at it?
Hmm.
All right.
We're gonna continue down the road miserably together.
Miserably, the two of you make your way down the road, soon arriving at those buildings in the distance. Let me copy you both. And as you make your way down this dirt path, you arrive at Sleepy Hills Rest Stop. It is a humble and small settlement with only a few buildings and a small stable. But you can see a few market stalls set up in the center of a makeshift square, if you will. Off in the distance ahead of you, further straight ahead down the road, you can see a larger building with flickering lights on in the windows and a large sign in front of the door that you can't quite read from here.
Jared's gonna walk in and just kind of take note of the villagers, any that look like they could be combatants.
In regards to combatants, the only person here who draws your eye is an elven woman across the way, clad in armor, and just sort of scratching her head next to the stables. But other than that, there is what seems to be a merchant lady over here, and a mustachioed elf running another shop over there.
Draven will approach the armored woman. Greetings, ma'am.
She was staring sort of off at the horses, scratching her head, but she looks over to you as you approach, and she says, good day, sir.
Yes, my name is Draven, and I've been traveling for quite a while. I'm looking for a place to rest, and perhaps a meeting, if you know anything about it.
Well, can't say I know much about a meeting, but if you want a place to rest, the tavern's also an inn. Just down the way. She kind of hooks her head off down the road in this direction.
Yes. Is it usually busy at this time?
Well, it's around midday, so depends on the day. Lunchtime rush, maybe?
I see. And what are the guard stations looking like? How many guards around town?
Oh, guards, no. This is Sleepy Hills.
Wonderful. Yes, Martos. Did you have something you needed to do here?
Follow you for a dagger, so I am here for a dagger.
Yes.
Should I continue following? Also, you mad suspicious asking about guards, I'm just saying.
It's always good to know the fortifications of the town you're in case an enemy attacks.
Where you from? You sound very educated.
I'm quite well traveled. Have you done much traveling yourself, Martos?
Just some.
Just some. And how do you get by? Hunting pigs, I assume?
And people that annoy me.
Ah, so you eat them as well. Do you
What
eat
can I
your
say?
own people, Martos?
Is that a thing against orcs?
No, I'm
Get
just
spanked a little
curious.
bit. Really? Let me see. Do you eat your own people? Is that a thing you do?
No, certainly not. Us lunar elves do not partake in cannibalism.
I've heard many things about elves. Cannibalism isn't far off that list.
Hmm.
Just as a little side note, Martos, you are slightly quiet. I turned you up in Discord, but I've maxed you out, so just make sure that you speak into the mic, and that'll be a little bit better. Thanks.
I got you.
When you were being like sort of loud and confrontational, that was the perfect volume, actually.
The yelling is a perfect volume.
That's a little bit much, but I just want to make sure that they can hear you.
Got it.
Perfect, thank you. All right, the two of you make your way down the path towards this larger building. And it only takes you a few minutes before you arrive at the larger building with a sign above its door. Marto,
Yes.
as the two of you walk towards the doors of this building, both of you with rather sharp instincts for hunting, find your eyes dart off to your right and see, sort of peeking its head out from behind a stump, a white rabbit that just sort of watches you quietly as you make your way toward the tavern.
Do you want that one for food as well, Martos, or should we go inside and purchase something?
I got mine. Besides, you couldn't hit a boar. I doubt you can hit a measly rabbit.
Yes, I recall you missing the boar as well.
Try doing it while running.
All right.
I'm gonna enter and definitely take stock of the people here.
As you enter, there is a sign above the door that says "The Gilded Guest." And as you enter the tavern, you find that it is actually relatively crowded. All right, 1 second. It was because I wasn't sure who was starting, and then I forgot to move it.
This is all good. I was just paused for a moment. I was like,
It was funny. Don't worry about
say it?
it.
Okay.
Oh, you're twin.
Yeah, that's the plot of this campaign: is that you have to fight your own clones.
Oh no, that's the Clone Wars.
Yeah, this is my version of the Clone Wars, everybody. That's the reveal. I spoiled it. Sorry. But you walk inside and take stock of the people in the tavern. Most look like commoners. As you walked in, you could see two men here, and they are arm wrestling on their table. A barmaid makes her way from table to table, dropping off drinks, and then making her way back to the bar to pick up more. At the bar, you see several figures. You see two men casually talking. One appears to be a half-elf, and the other, wearing a sort of hood, is human. And behind the bar is an old elf and a female elf as well, who seem to be running the place. Draven, you take a seat at the bar, relatively close to another man, human, with dark hair. And the two of you sort of eye each other warily as you sit down next to him.
Before Draven walked up, he had a small book he was looking in, but he quickly put it away when he sat down next to him.
Right.
Draven's definitely giving the man some side eye right now, but he's gonna continue with ordering a drink. Yes, bartender, do you have any wine?
Yeah, we've got some wine here.
Yes.
Any
One
particular
cup.
red or white?
Red, preferably.
All right. I have it with you in just a moment, sir.
Draven's gonna kind of look over to the man now as the bartender leaves to get his drink. Greetings, sir.
At first, he kind of ignores him and takes a sip of mead. And he kind of peeks at him, the corner of his eye.
Yes, sir, it was me. I said greetings.
He takes a bigger sip, puts the mead down. Yeah, how are you?
Quite all right, sir.
You need something?
Just curious, are you from this town?
Depends. Who's asking?
My name is Draven. Draven Duskmore. And yourself?
He kind of takes a second, pause, and responds. Name's Wits.
Wits. Short and sweet. A pleasure to meet you, Wits.
Likewise.
But, back to my question. Are you from this town?
He takes a second to kind of think about it, and he responds. No, I'm not.
Draven will kind of scoot over a little bit. You see, I've come to this town, searching for information. I'm told there is perhaps a meeting? You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
He pulls up kind of his sleeve a little bit to cover up the crest on his hand, and just kind of quietly says, or like whispers to him rather, "Are you here for it too?"
Draven furtively looks around the room, and he'll nod at Wits.
He kind of, which kind of loosens up a little bit. He said, and just kind of goes back to drinking his mead.
Yes. Well, it seems I have attracted the attention of an orcish, half-orcish something or other that lost its quarry in front of me.
Glaring at him.
So, if you would, just watch my back and I'll watch yours.
Gotcha.
Appreciate it.
Martos, you have a seat at a table sort of away from everybody else, off in the corner. For reference, if you want to move while ignoring the grid, just hold Alt while you're moving your character, and then you can sit right there. But Draven, you think back and sort of harken back to this letter that you received. Still on you, if you will. And the letter instructed you to meet at the Gilded Guest on this day. And it said that the meeting would happen at around 4 in the afternoon. Currently, it's just past midday.
Alright, so I've got a bit of time to work with.
You do. The rest of you are aware of this as well.
Alright, Draven's gonna finish his cup of wine and then stand up.
And Wits kind of just slowly sips his mead, but he also is occasionally looking at the corner of his eye at the orc behind him, since Draven brought that to his attention.
Come, Wits, I'll introduce you to the creature I met outside. Yes, Martos, this is Wits. He will be accompanying me around the town.
Now
At
we have
le-
two fools.
Which kind of scoffs under his breath when she makes that comment.
don't mind her. She has dubbed me as Fool, though I told her my name was Draven.
Took him a couple fools to get there.
Then Witz gives a light chuckle under his breath, but still doesn't respond.
You know, I think I already like the other one better.
Yes, quite. It seems we have a bit of time before this meeting with Martos. If you would like, we could check out the town.
I need to offer a drink. Well, come along.
Draven's gonna follow Martos out, but he's just kind of suspiciously eyeing her, just in case she tries something.
Alright, you make your way back out of the busy tavern, with a few hours ahead of you before the planned time of your meeting. And as you make your way back out of the tavern, you see that rabbit is still sitting there next to the stump, still watching you. And the rabbit, you see those same strange figures who entered the tavern only about 5-10 minutes ago, immediately up and leave again.
I'm gonna call out to the rabbit and Sylvan.
Okay.
Yes, small furry one. Can you hear me? Hop once, if so.
You are able to understand this rabbit.
I'm gonna approach the rabbit. You said I can understand him?
No, the rabbit understands what you said.
Oh, okay. Yes, rabbit. Are you watching for the meeting? Hop once, if so. Quite. Carry on then. Yes, are we ready?
I believe that's a normal rabbit.
Yes, quite a normal rabbit. Don't hunt it.
Well, I'm glad you didn't throw a dagger at it.
Not everything is as normal as it seems.
Alright, just a moment. Okay. The three of you make your way back towards the center of Sleepy Hills. One second, I'm gonna get all three of you. There you go. Alright, and arrive back at those market stalls and small assortment of buildings.
Yes, Martos, perhaps you can find someone selling a dagger that I will definitely purchase to
want a
compensate you
dagger.
for losing your pig.
In no way is pig the value of a dagger. Don't even want a dagger. What do you be selling, elf?
The elf at this shop was looking down as you approached and sort of fiddling with a small contraption and a small little piece of metal that he was using to tighten a little screw. And he looks up at you and says, "Oh, heavens, caught me off guard. Well, I'm the carpenter and, well, dabble a little bit at tinkering. Is there something that you needed?"
No, I'm just asking around. You're a lot nicer than I thought you would be. I met some very unnice folks here today.
Yes, a carpenter. Perhaps you could join with an architect as well to build a home for this one. She seems a bit homeless.
That's the rude one I was talking about.
Well, was there a particular service you needed, or?
What about you, fool?
I assume you refer to me when you say fool?
Yes, I like the other one. You're the fool now.
No, I require no assistance from this carpenter. Draven's gonna immediately take notice of the person approaching.
You spin around, and you find yourself confronted with a tiefling. With very, very pale white skin and horns that protrude up from her hair.
Yes, can we help you?
Hello. I noticed you earlier. Are you, joining the meeting too?
Excuse me, you noticed us earlier?
You wouldn't happen to be a rabbit, would you?
Nice, yeah.
Ah,
You know how
yes.
dangerous it is to be a rabbit around these parts?
You easily could have been impaled by a dagger or a throwing axe.
The fool would have missed you.
To admit, I wasn't very thrilled when I heard that particular discussion. Good to know you figured it out, though.
Yes, you're fine. I usually use traps anyway, so as long as you don't wander into any traps, you should be fine around here.
Comforting, thank you.
But introductions must be in order. I am Draven Duskmore. A pleasure to meet you.
Sybil Vignori. And you two?
I am Martos, that had the pleasure of running into a fool and a nice little fellow over there.
Which
Cute.
kind of silently. The name's just Wits.
I'm just gonna blow up each of your portraits so everybody can see. There we go.
Draven Dustmore art done by Shiny Shiny Pants, aka Shinx, aka Fallon May, aka Killian Quinn.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that at some point, but yes, done by our very own Shinx.
I did my art. It's not really similar to everybody else's art styles, to be honest.
That's not a problem
I
at all.
found mine on Pinterest because I can't do
I'm
art.
loving it.
Pinterest is great for D&D art.
Exactly.
it
That's
is.
why I went there.
All right. So the four of you now have a few hours to kill. You can do so by looking around town, or you can simply let me know that you just want to sit and wait at the tavern, and we will just move right past that.
What you guys want to do?
I was just gonna make Wits go and drink more.
Drinking
nice and-
contest?
Sauced before the meeting.
On God?
Drinking contest.
That'll be
Drinking contest.
something to watch.
Let's go. Come on.
Let's go. Let's go.
We gotta start making our way.
Yes, you two have the money for this.
Do we?
Sybil, perhaps we should follow them. I believe
No,
they'll
no,
get
no,
into
no.
trouble without us.
Don't follow the fool. You're gonna come with us. We're chill.
Loser pays.
Yes, by following
Bet.
me,
Let's
we are
go.
following you as well, Martos.
I wouldn't stand close to the fool.
Alright. You make your way back to the Gilded Guest then. Just give me a sec, I'll get you all in here. All right. And arrive back at the double doors to the tavern.
Draven's gonna go off to the corner and just kind of coolly prop along the wall. With his arms crossed.
Delightful.
He's
Whisper
so
that as
cool.
I walk by.
There are a few tables open in the corner. And some spots at the bar as well. Martos and Wits, as you walk up to the bar, the barkeeper says, afternoon, something I can get you?
Yeah, I'll take one mead.
Alright. We got mead, we got ale, we got wine. He looks at you, Martos. What you in the mood for?
Ooh, me too. I'll match your wits.
Alright. It'll be 1 silver from each of you.
Witz reaches down in his pocket, but doesn't pull out his coin bag, and pulls out silver and puts it on the table.
Thank you kindly.
Feeling around little pockets. Ah, there you go, mate.
Alright. Have your mead with you in just a second. Hold tight. And he grabs some flagons from the counter and begins to fill them up for you. And after a short moment, he brings them back and sets them down in front of you. You enjoy? Just flag me down if you need some more.
Thanks. And Witz starts taking a little sip of his mead.
I'm gulping.
Alright. As you begin to drink at the bar, Draven, from leaning against the wall, just kind of immediately off to your right, the 2 doors swing open. And in walks 2 men. And they carry with them a very large barrel. Much like the ones already on the counter here. They lug it over to the back of the bar and look at the barkeep and say, where'd you want this then? And the barkeep says, just place it down there, pointing next to the others. And the 2 lug it over, place it down, breathing heavily from the weight of it, and then say to the man, or to the innkeep, you got some water, we need to take a break. And the innkeep says, yeah, we'll get you some waters. And he does. And with their water, the 2 men just sort of move off out of the way and take a rest. Is there anything that anybody else would like to do?
How loudly are the people in the tavern talking? Like, these guys specifically?
These 2, relatively quietly. They're facing away from you, so you can't really get any sort of read on what they're saying, and they're not talking loud enough to be heard over anybody else. The 2 loudest people in the tavern are over here. The 2 guys who are arm wrestling and just sort of loudly cheering themselves on.
Witz kind of looks off at the 2 guys arm wrestling, then looks back to Martos. think they could be an orc.
Ha! Oh heavens, no.
Want to go prove them wrong?
Alright, these two will get out of your way.
Draven watches Martos approach the arm wrestlers with an amused grin.
And Witz brings his cup or his mead next to stand next to Draven.
Alright, Martos, as you approach, the two men are very obviously inebriated. In the middle of one arm wrestling match, but as you walk up, this man here looks over at you, and this man takes the opportunity of him being distracted to slam his arm down onto the table, and then he lets out a little cheer of celebration, to which the other man goes, "Oh, that's not fair, you cheated!" And then this man here looks you up and down, Martos, and says, "You look like you're in the mood for an arm wrestle."
I'm in the mood to win, so let's go.
Alright, well,
Good over, loser.
we're going to be putting gold down on it, though.
I'll put down an axe. How about that?
Yes, I heard gold. How much?
Oh, great.
Well, start us off with a 2 gold bet. How's that sound?
Sure, I have 2 gold on not the half-orc.
Get ready to pay up.
Witz kind of whispers to Seville, "This is their entertainment for the day."
Pretty much.
Then he takes another big sip of mead, and then he steps forward.
Alright. The
One
man.
gold on Martos.
Alright.
Hey.
The man across the table from you, Martos, props his elbow up against it and holds his hand out for you.
Give a good grip. But let's go.
Alright. Then make a strength check, and he will contest it. Alright. You rolled an
Gotcha.
11,
Mhm.
and he rolled a 13.
Motherfucker.
So it's relatively close. For a while, you can't tell who's going to win, as they teeter slightly towards Martos' side, then slightly back towards the man's side, then slightly back towards Martos' side, and then finally and slowly, he manages to pin your arm, Martos.
What were the odds on that betting?
Didn't you bet your axe?
I did bet an axe. Now I'm
You
down
bet an
an
axe,
Oh no.
2 gold.
I have two. It's okay.
You bet 2 gold on
Where
him, and
Where did my guy go? He just
I have no idea where you went. That's what I was looking
No.
for. I will,
Vanished.
losing
I,
cantrip.
Gone.
I will drag a new you. So give me a second. Big wits.
Vanished on us.
There you go.
I used the illusion cantrip. That's what happened.
All right. So Wits bet on Martos and lost his gold, and Martos lost her axe.
Only got one. Of a giant cussing orc.
So Draven
That
got
mimics
2
fuck.
gold then?
Yes.
Yep.
Solid.
Martos kind of like waves his hand to tell. Witz tells Witz hand to tell Martos to come over.
Oh no. Shaking my head, cussing an orc.
He kind of whispers to Martos, "Hey, don't worry. Here, I got an idea. Go distract that guy that just won the axe from you."
The two men, this man's still seated. The other man has sort of approached behind him and is rubbing his shoulders like a boxer.
Hey, mate. Alright. Usually I don't pity no fools, but I believe you do have my respect now. That was a fair game.
Yeah, you put up quite a good fight, so respect as well to you.
Both in that. How did you get so strong? You beat an orc. You know that's not very common.
Well, secret to my strength is getting mighty drunk first.
That's the secret. Perhaps I should have had more meat then.
Yeah, then maybe you might have beat me.
Can I roll a sleight of hand check to steal the axe?
It is sitting on the table in front of him. You can grab it, but the likelihood of him noticing it's missing is relatively high, I would say,
Okay. Well,
as it
then,
is just sitting on a table.
Can I use my cantrip message to tell Martos to try to get him to get away from the table?
You can. Martos, you hear a voice echo in your head. Wits, what do you say?
Try to get him to go drink with you at the bar, and try to do it quickly to make him not notice the axe, or forget about the axe rather.
Martos, you hear that voice. You hear that voice echo in your head, and you are able to respond as well to him within your own head without anybody hearing.
That's why I'm just gonna start talking to the dude. I believe a toast is in order, good sir. How about a little drinking game then?
All right, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, come then. We have to go to the bar. Get out of my way, fool.
Right.
Me and my new friends are gonna come drink.
Let me make an intro for him to see if he remembers to pick up the axe.
Okay.
Alright, he fails that intro. He's getting up from the table.
Okay.
And the other man will go with him. The two of them, very tipsy, are just sort of like teetering and tottering their way over to the bar, following you, Martos. And he has left behind just the axe on the table.
Are these two guys watching? Were they watching the arm wrestling?
No, they're just sort of looking out this window here and just kind of quietly talking to each other.
Okay, I'm just
So-
gonna walk over here and just kind of face the table. Anyway, just providing a bit of cover for what I notice Wit's doing.
Okay, now
Do
do
the
I do
same.
the sleight of hand check?
You don't need to sleight of hand at all. Nobody's watching.
Okay. Then I'll take the axe. Is it like a short axe that you can fit in the bag, or is it like?
It's a
It's
hand axe.
yeah, like a
It's a
little
hand axe.
throwing axe, like basically a hatchet.
Oh, okay. So Witz takes the axe and he hides it in his bag.
Yeah, you could tuck it into a coat. You could hide it in your bag. Whatever, it will fit.
Okay.
All
And
right.
once he does it, he walks over to try to influence the guys to drink more.
The two men have joined you at the bar, Martos. Let's just give them a bit more room there. There, now everybody has room. And the bartender approaches you, Martos, and says, "Want some more then?"
Yes, but my dear chap here is paying.
He looks at you. Hold on, I'm paying. I thought this was a congratulatory toast.
Isn't that what we were? I thought you said you were gonna pay for
I
his
said I-
celebratory. I thought you said, yeah, that's what you said.
I
Is
said
he
I was
not,
gonna-
mate?
He looks
Oh,
at
Mr.
he
Dell.
looks he looks at his buddy actually too. And this man says, "Hubert, did I say I was gonna pay?" And Hubert just sort of looks at him and scratches his head. I don't think you did, John.
Now we're not gonna celebrate because you drunks can't remember.
Why don't you use some of your winnings from the bet? It's more than enough to pay.
Persuasion check. Insufficient.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I want to keep my winnings. It's the whole point of winning, isn't it?
Well, now you're losing some disrespect. You said you would pay.
I don't think I did.
I believe you did.
In an attempt to defuse the
Drunken
situation, Witz goes ahead and offers to pay. Don't worry, guys. I got.
Now you got
plenty.
my buddy paying for nothing.
Alright then, that's 4 silver across. If all of you are drinking. He says that to you, Wits.
I'll just take a meat, and then he tosses him the silver that's gonna be required.
He goes behind the bar and gets your drinks ready. And passes one each out to each of you. And says, enjoy. Draven and Sybil, the barmaid comes up to you and says, can I help you with something? Is there anything you needed? Drinks, food?
I'm quite alright, thank you though.
Alright, well, just call me over if you decide you need something.
Thank you.
Draven's gonna look at Sybil and kind of nod towards the hooded man at the bar, and just kind of motion that he's about to walk over there.
Okay.
Alright, Draven, you make your way up to the bar, where these two men are just sort of casually talking, and sort of eyeing the spectacle of these four every once in a while. But the hooded man turns to you, Draven, and says, well met, friend. Do you need something?
No, my friend. I was just watching these down here. They're quite interesting.
Yeah. They, loud to say the least.
Indeed. Please do carry on with your conversation. I do not mean to be a bother.
Course.
Let me know if I need to roll deception on that, because I'm definitely trying to eavesdrop on them while I'm standing here.
Not particularly deception, but you, they're talking quietly, so to make out what they're talking about, a perception roll. You can probably get bits and pieces, but to make out everything, make a perception roll for me. Oof.
I got nothing.
Shit. Yeah.
Could I also try listening in?
Sybil, yes, you can as well.
Okay. It's like not used to roll 20.
Right. Draven, these four over here are making a little bit too much noise next to you for you to be able to make out what they're saying. But Sybil, with a bit of distance, you get a little bit more of their conversation. And from what you gather, these two don't seem like they know each other.
Anything else?
Well, you get sort of a conversation where this one's like, yeah, I'm a bard. I just came into town today. And the other one's like, all right, how's the bard business been lately? So they're kind of talking rather casually about their own lives. So you get the sense that they don't actually know each other and maybe have just met today. This one seems a little more tipsy than this one, and is sort of rambling about all the different instruments you can play. Yeah, I can play the horn. I got lute in me pack that I can play. It just keeps going on and on about that.
Witz finishes up his mead. Then whenever he does, he kind of just walks off and goes to the same wall that Draven earlier, while opening his small book and looking at it some more.
Yes, it's a good spot, isn't it?
He kind of lets out like a small chuckle. Yeah, it is.
So I got nothing else right now. Draven's just gonna casually watch the people of the bar.
All right. Sybil, is there anything you'd like to do while you wait for the meeting?
I'm doing the same. I don't really feel very confident in bars.
Perfect. You don't need to do anything. I just would like to make sure that everybody gets a chance to do something if they wish to. Witz and Draven, you two are waiting as well. And Martos, the two men with you, they finish their drinks and then hail the innkeep over. And they're going, all right, another, on that guy's tab, and they point at Witz. And then the barkeep is just like, I think you two have had quite enough for today. I'm going to have to cut you off, I'm afraid. And looking a little bit disappointed, they turn to you.
Avert eye contact.
All right. Then the man who defeated you in the arm wrestling will say, well, it was nice meeting you, and well, nice beating you too, but suppose we ought to get back to business. If
I
you're
suppose so.
here another day, then maybe a rematch.
This time I'll win.
I'm sure you will.
Drunken idiots. But good drunken idiots.
Yes, Martos, if you plan on entering any more contests, please do let me know.
I don't want
I
to
do enjoy earning gold.
Which kind of pulls the axe out of his bag and slips on the ground next to Martus's feet.
I'll put that back. I'm gonna give you a big giant thumbs up.
All right. The four of you grab an empty table in the corner of the bar and wait for the time that the letter dictated that you were to meet. And you wait, sort of having some minor small talk amongst the four of you. And then Draven, as your closest, and well, just a little on edge, you hear the doors to the tavern open once more. And as he rounds the corner, you see an old man with very ornate and a little bit eccentric robes. Now he's balding, and you can see that he has long hair and a beard. He makes his way over to the bar and sort of leans on it for a moment to have words with the barkeep. And then you see him just sort of scan the entire tavern. He just sort of stands there contentedly looking around for a moment, and then he makes his way over here and takes a seat at this table here, at the head of the table, and just sort of, you see all four of you see him just sort of fold his hands in front of him and just sort of contentedly smile and wait.
Unhappy soggy oatmeal.
Draven will sigh exasperatedly and get up and walk over to the man.
He sees you approach, and he just sort of raises his eyebrows slightly excitedly and says, yes, hello, friend.
Yes. The meeting, I assume.
No, you're here for the meeting. Which one are you then?
Draven Duskmore.
Yes, Mr. Draven, of course. Have a seat. Go on. He sort of
Hello.
pokes his head around you, Draven. The others, are they with you as well?
The others? Yes, I assume you mean these fellows. They have come here for a meeting as well.
Oh, very good. Well, all of you, have a seat, and introductions will be in order. Right. The four of you take a seat at the table, and the old man, still with his hands folded, says, now then, I suppose introductions are in order. I'll begin, if you'll allow me. Now, all of you know this already, but my name is Cornifer Creekwood, and I am the man who sent you those letters.
You.
Now then, we know Mr. Draven, and what about the rest of you?
I'm Sybil Vignori. I have to admit, I'm a bit nervous to be here. It's the first time I've traveled off the continent.
I see. Miss Sybil, nice to put names to faces. And the others?
Martos.
And then that must leave you as Wits, correct?
Yeah, that's me.
Well, there's supposed to be 5 of you, though. He just sort of looks puzzled at all of you.
They died.
See anybody else on the way in here besides these 3?
Martos was chasing a pig on the outskirts of town. That wouldn't be the 5th, I assume.
No, you didn't try to kill another druid, did you?
Maybe. To be fair, I would not have known. They should have changed. Maybe it could have saved them.
Which kind of nods over behind him. Could it be that guy over there? He's been here a while. He like nods. Hooded man.
Which one specifically? This guy?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so. The last one was a woman. So
Well, it beats me.
well, I suppose they haven't arrived already. Then I might as well get on with things. And should they arrive part of the way, I suppose we can catch them up. How does that sound?
Wonderful.
Thumbs up.
Alright, well, to save space on those letters, I didn't give myself a full introduction, but I am Cornifer Creekwood, and I am a wizard. I live in Hanatuaria, as you know, and, well, for the past approximately, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a decade or so, I've been looking into this odd sigil. Now, I believe you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Draven glances at everyone else.
Sybil just sort of rubs her wrist a bit.
Which
Where?
kind of does the same.
I'm assuming it is. I forgot exactly where.
It is on the back of your hand.
Okay. That then.
As Cornifer Creekwood talks, he has this like very jovial and excited expression on his face, like an archaeologist talking about dinosaurs. And he says, yes, now this sigil. Now, I found it in an old tome that I dug up, and have not been able to place it absolutely anywhere. It's not a symbol of a god, it's not a symbol of some ancient civilization, absolutely nowhere, no evidence of anything. And so, I thought that I would put out, well, posters around, wanted posters if you will, for people who had seen this symbol. And I believe, from what you've told me, that's how you came in contact with me, correct?
Indeed, your posters have caused me a bit of anxiety, Cornifer. I would appreciate it if you took them down now that we have been found.
Well, I did place 1, 2, 3, 4, 700 of them, so that would be a little bit difficult.
Which
Could-
kind of scoffs.
But, you were the, well, other one included, the 5 of you were the only people who actually responded to me at all. So, for the most part, I think people have ignored them. If that makes you feel a little bit better, Mr. Draven.
Yes, indeed.
Did you ever catch the name of the missing one?
No, she insisted on not telling me it. Which, I suppose, privacy and all, I'm just a stranger. I imagine that makes a bit of sense, but, well, now that she's missing in action, it does make it a little bit hard to locate her.
Do you know anything else about her?
Not much. The correspondences were rather brief, much like the ones I had with all of you. Just you telling me that you'd seen that sigil and me, well, wanting to know more about it. And I guess that brings us to our next piece of business, if you will.
Yes, do go on.
Well, when I sent out those wanted posters, the last place I was expecting for this sigil to turn up was, well, on the back of all of your hands. If you wouldn't mind, would you show them?
Of course. Sybil puts her hand out on the table.
Just pulls up a sleeve a little bit, puts his out on the table too.
Smacking
Drake.
it down on the table.
Draven will wait for everyone else to show theirs, and then he'll flash his quickly.
Woods kind of jumps whenever Morrow slams it down the table.
Alright. Each of you show the symbols on the back of your hand. And each of them, as you come to realize as you look at the others, are identical to your own. The symbol is etched into the back of your hand as if tattooed with liquid gold. It is a sigil of a crown wreathed in mistletoe.
I do admit, I have been wondering quite a bit as to what it could be. I'd be interested to hear your ideas on it.
Yes, well, like I said, not the symbol of any god that I know, and not some symbol of an ancient civilization that I've been able to see, and, well, I've looked around quite a bit and searched through libraries and tomes for ancient factions or pacts even, and haven't been able to find anything.
Are there archfey in this world? Or like, that kind of thing in general? I'm assuming there are. Because it's fairies.
No concept that you would know of, especially not
okay.
from the mainland.
Alright.
And he just sort of scratches his head. Now, I do want to hear it in your own words. You've explained a little bit in the letters, but the night that it appeared, I'd like you each to tell me a bit more about that. Though I think you'll find all of your stories are rather similar.
Draven patiently eyes the others.
Witch does the same.
I believe none of us are gonna say what happened. So, anything else, Mr. Oatmeal?
I was leaving home when it happened.
I see, and, well, each of you described that there was a painful sensation, yes?
Yeah.
And it came at a really annoying time.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Now, the presence of pain is what confused me. When you described it, it sounded like some sort of devil's pact or something like that. A painful sigil appearing etched into your skin. It sounded rather sinister.
It's like remote branding almost, I suppose.
Yes, much like the branding of a cow or something like that. It all sounded rather sinister, but looking at them now, do they still cause you pain?
What, they cause us discomfort, right?
Like a slight discomfort and ache every once in a while, maybe like once, twice a week.
Kind of like an old scar.
Yeah, just every once in a while there's like a slight kind of throb to it, but nothing major.
They do not cause me, or it does not cause me, immense pain, but it is a slight discomfort.
Yeah, I second that.
It's all very odd indeed. He holds up both of his hands and shows them to you, front and back. And as you see, I don't have the sigil myself. It appears to be just the, well, four of you. Now,
You said that you're a wizard, correct?
Yes, I am. Why do you ask?
Do you detect any magic from this sigil? Specifically, divination magic? We're not
good.
being watched, are we?
Thank you for reminding me. I meant to do so in person, as it's rather hard over letters to do any sort of magical detection. One of you, volunteer, I suppose. Hold out your hand for me.
Yes, one of you should extend.
I don't
your
think
arm to him.
Draven's going to do it, so I will, I suppose.
Witch quickly puts the sleeve back over the seal.
All right. You hold out your hand for him, and you see him sort of. He brings out his hands and holds them over, just kind of hovering them on top of yours. And you see him sort of intently stare at your hand, focusing. And he pauses for a full minute in an awkward silence, and then says,
"Oh, that's awful."
No, not quite divination. And well, good news, it's not necromancy. No, that would have been worrying. That would have surely been worrying. And
yeah.
Well, it's all incredibly puzzling. It feels like, just detecting it is giving me a headache. It's complex magic far beyond anything I've seen before. He looks sort of like dizzy. He's kind of blinking quickly.
Could it be linked to something else? Deity or something like that could be causing this?
Well, it's always possible, but, well, I have done my research and have not been able to find examples of it in the past. So whatever it is, it might be new.
It's a comforting thought. Thank you.
Now then, I imagine this is all a little bit overwhelming for everybody. Does anyone have any questions for me? I suppose I should stop chattering away like I always do.
Yes. Now that you have gathered us here, what do you want of us?
Well, you see, my plan was, and then he pauses. And as he pauses, you realize in the blink of an eye why he did so. And it is because a crossbow bolt now sprouts from his throat. And he chokes and gargles on it and falls out of his seat.
What?
Draven, yep, immediately spinning to the direction the bolt came from, with the dagger in hand.
All right, just pause for a moment since this is all happening rather quickly, so I need consider yourself moving with combat rolls, since it's all happening in the blink of an eye. You all spin around to see where the bolt came from. And see a very casual looking man with oily black long hair to his shoulders. And he leans facing you in a bit of a recline against the bar table. And in his right hand, you can see a crossbow. And he has a sneer on his face. And then, as you all spin to face him, and sort of shoot out of your seats, drawing your weapons, he stands as well. And as all of this happens, the bar around you falls silent. And the man looks at each of you and then says, "Well, sorry, my friends, but you're on the hit list too." And then he vanishes in a puff of smoke.
Should have just thrown the damn axe as soon as I saw him.
And as he does, several things happen from all around the tavern. The hooded man stands up from his stool. The two men who were drinking their water turn to face you as well. Another man, who had come down the stairs while you were talking to Cornifer, is also staring directly at you. And from their robes, each of them pull weapons. Roll initiative.
Oh. Oh no!
Ah, we love to see it.
Are they being mind controlled? I don't know.
I'm just gonna snap you to the grid, Martos.
I need to flip me too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Alright. Sybil, 17. Nice roll. Martos with an 8. Wits with a 13. And Draven with a 21. Very good roll. Alright. First to act is Draven. As these 4 men spin in their seats and draw their weapons on you, you're first to act. What do you do?
I'm gonna dash over here. Or, well, not
Yeah,
actually
so let me
dash, but
snap that guy
you know
over.
what I mean.
Yep.
As
As you do, your eye is drawn to figures standing in the distance, and you recognize the man who was sitting at the bar. It seems when he teleported, he moved over here.
All right. I'm gonna
And
move.
well, standing next to him are 2 others: a rather tall and muscular man and a much shorter, robed figure with something covering their face.
All right. I'm gonna come up and say, "You've caused me quite an inconvenience," and then throw a dagger at him, at the guy who fired the crossbow bolt.
All right, go for it.
Ugh, 12.
You miss.
Drat.
Your dagger goes sailing off down the tavern and just narrowly misses hitting this guy.
All right. I'm going to
Shoots
draw
you a sneer.
a bastard. I'm gonna draw my rapier, and that'll be my turn.
All right. Then, next to act is Sybil.
How do I do the arrow thing again to calculate distance?
So if you want to do it without moving your character, you go to in the top left. There is the ruler, which is like a little circle with a ruler on it below the magnifying glass. That'll let
there
you
that is.
measure
Yes.
without moving. And then if you want to do it while moving, you just click and hold your character, and then right click or hit Q to do it while moving your character. Either way is fine.
Very nice. Could I do entangle, with the epicenter being right here? It's 20 feet, right? And this is 2.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So I cast entangle.
All right, let me grab you entangle.
Oh. Wait, where's spells? Nice. Sorry, I'm not very used.
No worries. This is your first combat, so it is intended to essentially let you find your footing.
Hmm.
All right. I'm gonna give you control of it. You place it where you want it.
Oh wait, that's bigger than I thought.
That is its size. So place it where you want it. You can drag
One
it.
sec. Oh. Okay, yeah, that's a good spot, I suppose.
Perfect. Okay. Hang on. All right. Let's make some strength saves for these ones, shall we?
Is it restrained for entangle?
Yeah.
Nice.
Here, let's drop this to the back so we can see everybody. All right. The big burly one You see these roots sort of push their way through the floorboard, Draven, out in front of you, and attempt to wrap themselves around the knees of these three figures. And they successfully wrap themselves around this robed figure, and they are tangled up, as well as this man here. He is tangled as well. But this man here, as the roots attempt to sort of shoot their way and grab at him, he just sort of reaches down with both bare hands and just rips them right out of the ground. Muscles bulging.
Oh my god!
So these two
Okay.
are tangled.
Yes, Martos, you should arm wrestle him for money.
I'm not what, arm wrestling?
I'm not getting your axe back this time if it happens.
What is he? Man.
I can blow up his portrait for you if you want.
Nah, yeah, sorry.
All right. Now, Sybil, you are still able to move as well, so if you want to reposition, you can do that. Your turn is not over just because you cast a spell.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna move. Over here. This guy at the corner of the bar is bad news, right?
This one right here?
Yeah.
He has drawn a weapon and is facing you, so you estimate that to mean bad news.
Did not want to kill guy on his first date. Still that in the chat.
All right. Then you reposition next to this one here.
And, yeah, never mind. That's not a bonus action. Okay, cool.
All right. Then if that is the end of your turn, we will move on.
Yep.
Okay. It's his turn now. And he is holding a scimitar,
Ah, fun.
which he is going to swing at you. Oh, hang on. Did you end up changing the thing on your character sheet? I should refresh.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Good, because that will let me make sure that everything's accurate. Perfect. Yeah, that boosts your spells slightly. Alright, he's going to swing it at you, Sybil.
Fun.
And he's going to hit. And he's going to hit for 4 damage. He slices at you with his scimitar and just sort of catches you just around the ribcage, opening a small wound.
Right.
And that is the end of his turn.
Sybil, are you quite okay?
I can take it out one more of those.
I'll be there shortly.
Alright, Wits.
It's not really an idea.
Wits, it is now your turn.
Alright. Measuring.
No worries. Take your time. There's no rush.
Alright. I'd like to take out my water skin to get some water and use ice knife on the one guy that didn't get entangled.
1 second. Alright, yeah, you can. Alright. Ice knife.
Unfortunate attack roll, but maybe they'll fail to save.
The initial hit does not hit him, but as the ice hits the ground next to him, it bursts. What's the range on the AoE of that one? Anybody remember?
Pretty sure it's 6.
5 feet.
5
5
feet. Alright,
feet.
so this guy's taking it too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Alright.
I've been hit by that spell by
Yeah,
canyons.
Croak's taking that one to the
several
face. Alright, Roll your damage. So that's 2d6 cold damage that you have to roll.
Alright.
Should be able to click the pink box in roll 20. By
Yeah,
roll
there's a
damage.
little box there that'll do it for you. Where it says
Oh,
click.
okay.
It says click.
Yep.
8 cold. Nice.
That was a double 8 on 2d6s. How did that happen?
It's good.
Double 8.
Uh,
It rolled a 2 and a 6.
oh, sorry, I'm reading the total
Yeah,
damage.
I
That's
looked
what's
at
going
that,
on.
it's like-
Yeah, it's adding the piercing.
Alright. This guy's taking the damage. This guy's not. So you see the icicles sort of burst, and a couple of the shards embed themselves in the taller, more muscular one. And he lets out sort of a, damn it. Alright, anything else, Wits?
Let's see where that is. Alright. I'm just gonna make him move to behind this table here. And then draw out his knife on my turn.
Okay. Alright, next. The robed figure, whose legs are tangled up by roots, raises both of their hands. They are not holding any weapons in their hands, but they raise both of them, and suddenly their figure is enveloped by fire,
Oh god.
burning away the roots. And then, as they are freed, they turn. And they walk out of the tavern.
Oh, was he actually one of them attacking us? Or did I accidentally get somebody else with that?
He's probably the escort of the one who slew Cornifer.
So we drove him here?
Pardon?
Never mind.
Yeah, I saw him come in with him too.
Alright, next bandit's turn. Shall we go to this friend here, who runs up to you, Javen?
16 AC, hit me with your best shot.
How
So
does
squishy.
a 21 sound?
That'll hit.
Oh,
A lucky boy this one is. Look at the smile on his face. Look how happy he is.
I hate to break it to you, Jay, but his best shot's pretty good.
Yes, Sybil, I may be busy for a moment.
I think I can handle myself for a little while.
Alright, but he only manages to catch you quickly as most of his concentration was sprinting to run up to you. He only manages to just kind of catch your side and only does 2 slashing damage.
Alright, damage taken.
Alright, next. Is this friend here? I was going to position himself slightly. And then he is going to shoot at you with a crossbow, Draven.
Alright.
But he's going to miss. So the bolt goes sailing past you and lodges in this table behind you. Seems like he was trying to aim slightly wide to not hit his compatriot here, but he ended up missing.
This one aims like you, Martos.
Speaking of Martos, it's your turn.
Battle. Okay, hold on.
Welcome back, Sar.
Run up in here
Alright,
and hit him with that great axe.
go for it. Alright, unfortunately, a 10 is going to miss. You heft your great axe and swing it down at him, and he manages to just sort of turn his shoulder slightly out of the way, and you cut the edge of the bar table just clean off.
Oh, that's such a good damage roll, too.
It was a good damage roll, yeah.
Yes, Martos, try not to destroy the
Fucking,
atmosphere
you're
here.
throwing me off my game.
That was a good shot. Okay, who's next?
Next. Friend, over here.
Oh, lovely.
Friend.
He's going to reposition slightly. And then,
Wait,
he's gonna... Sorry, what?
if guy who brought in the barrel is with them, is that actually beer in the barrel?
I don't know.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
Right, he is also carrying a crossbow. He's gonna aim at you, Martos. And he's going to shoot it at you. And he is going to... What's your AC? He's gonna hit. But only barely. And it is going to do 3 damage, 3 piercing to you, Martos. And then as it strikes you, you realize that that was no
Special
Ord-
fucking.
ordinary crossbow bolt. As it hits you, you feel that piercing pain, and then it bursts, and all of a sudden you feel a burn as your shoulder catches flame. And you're going to take an additional 2 fire damage.
Okay.
How are you looking right now?
I feel pretty good.
Okay.
Alright. Next in the turn order, this man disappears.
And of course he was gonna do that.
Just sort of evaporating from inside of his restraints in the blink of an eye. And none of you are able to see him anymore.
My man's teleporting.
Coward.
I'm gonna eviscerate him next time we see him.
And
Someone
following
messaged.
his turn is the large man who says, looks sort of across at his compatriots and goes, all right, you lot have fun. And he leaves.
Consider it.
Yes, quite.
All right. Now then, we are back to Draven.
Give him
Yeah.
hell.
Martos, are you assisting Sybil? Do I need to help as well?
Sybil's gonna get hit before my turn comes. So,
Yeah, same
Ah,
here.
I suppose I'll help. Draven's gonna come forward and keep his shield arm towards this guy, but
Yep.
he's gonna attack this one with his rapier.
You reposition and sort of attack this guy from his shoulder. He's not quite facing you.
16 to hit,
You hit him.
7 piercing.
All right, he wasn't paying attention, and you managed to get a good hit on him and just sort of catch him in the rib cage with your rapier, and you see blood begin to drip down from where you've sort of impaled him.
Nice. Is it
And,
my turn now?
Lets out a cry of pain and spins his head towards you, but now he has 3 people to focus on, so he's not quite sure what to do.
Yes, please
so
deal
bad.
with this one.
Draven, if it's the end of your turn, then we can go to Sybil.
Yep.
Then Sybil, it's your turn.
Oh, what's roll the hit again? Oh yeah, here we go. Does that hit?
It does.
Okay. So I hit him with my staff.
You take a moment and infuse your staff with Druidic energy, and it begins to sort of hum and glow slightly. And then you crack it down over the top of his head. And he is just sort of knocked entirely off of his feet and slammed into the ground, and he stops moving.
Oh, fucking high five there.
Nice.
Were you even in trouble?
I was handling myself pretty well towards the end there.
Noted.
All right, if that is all, Sybil, you can reposition and stuff like that.
I'm gonna move over here.
This is a space that you can stand if you want. Just letting you know, because it's kind of overlapping the table to do it. Not saying that you're trying to go there, but I just wanted to let you know you could stand there if you want.
Just sit on the table.
Yeah,
stand
we're
on the
not
table.
actually 5 feet wide.
Jump off of it and tackle him like in WWE or something.
Hit him with one of the chairs.
You can. It's an improvised weapon.
Yeah, if you want, you can hop right up on top of those tables.
Grab the lantern
So-
and throw it at him.
This is a bar fight, baby. You can swing from the chandelier if you want. All right. Next would have been our friend here's turn, but he is taking a bit of a nap.
Mm.
Wake up later.
That was a bit of a concussion.
Just a scratch.
Perhaps we should leave at least one alive for questioning.
So Wits, it's your turn now. Nap in heavy air quotes.
Hey, Draven, you need help with that guy next to you.
Pool of blood forming around his head.
No.
I should be able to handle this one. If you have any ranged attacks, deal with the crossbowman.
Gotcha. Which one is it? This guy that has it? I can't
These
focus.
two have crossbows. The guy's kind of standing farther back. These 2 guys have scimitars.
Ah, okay. Let me see. Alright, Draven, you're gonna have to duck a little bit here.
Of course.
From behind you, you
Okay.
hear a shout to duck, Javen.
I want to use Ray of Frost on. I don't know, why can I not click and make the.
I don't know. Just clicking and holding is what points particularly.
Okay.
You can use the ruler to point at them too if you want, if it's not working, but clicking and holding is what highlights.
Okay. I'm gonna use Ray of Frost on this guy right here.
Perfect. All right. So make your attack roll. Oh, there you go. Perfect. You hit him.
Nice rolls.
Ooh, wow.
All right. Perfect. You, Draven, you hear a call to duck from behind you, and just barely get out of the way before this streak of blue light goes sailing over your head. And as it passes over you, you feel kind of on the back of your neck, slightly cold. And it slams into this guy here. And you see sort of like frost form on his chest where it hit him as he cries out in pain. And he takes 7 cold damage.
Brutal.
Anything else, Wits?
Let's see. Am I able to move and use another cantrip, or is that too many actions?
You can move separately from all of your actions and bonus actions. So during every turn, pretty much, unless there's some sort of other thing affecting you, you're able to move around, and that won't affect any of the actions you can do.
Okay.
So you can attack first and then move. You can move first then attack. It's free. You can move some of your movement, attack, then move the rest. It's all up to you. As far as spells, they're going to use up your actions or your bonus actions depending on what spell
Yeah.
it is, right?
I knew that part.
So Ray
I
of
said
Frost-
trips.
Ray of Frost used up your action,
Yeah, I already checked the slot on it on my.
and all of your other spells are actions as well. If you have something that is a bonus action, you can use it in addition to a spell that uses an action, but it has to be cantrip and spell. It can't be two spells.
Oh, okay. I think I'm just gonna end my turn here. It's a pretty safe spot, and I can hit everything.
Since this guy did it. Alright, then you end your turn, and we move on. Alright. This guy is going to swing at you again, Draven.
Alright.
He does not hit this time. He swings at you as you're facing sort of away from him, but he catches the shield that you're holding out towards him, and it just deflects off.
Yes, you'll have to do better than that.
Which brings us to this guy, who's going to immediately fire a crossbow bolt at you as you sort of hold your rapier in one direction, your shield in the other, leaving yourself sort of exposed to him. He's going to take that opportunity to shoot a crossbow bolt right at your chest. Alright. And that's going to hit.
Oh, yes, like that.
For 3 piercing.
Alright, damage taken.
It catches a bit of a non-vital area of you. Hurts like the devil, but you're still standing.
Martos, come up here and stand in front of me. It's a good tactical position.
Oh my god, I love Draven. He's a great character.
Speaking of Martos, it's your turn.
I'm just gonna let him die. Oh, I can. That's fine.
Martus just goes and stabs Raven to finish him off to get him to be quiet.
Oh,
Wouldn't
they
blame
got
her.
him! Run over here. Throw my hand axe at this dude.
Alright,
Throw it.
go for it. Alright.
Got it.
Your hand axe goes spinning through the air, and at first you think that it hit his armor, but you realize after you see a bit of blood dripping down that you managed to hit him just in a small little part of his armor where it wasn't covered. A tiny little gap in the armor, and he's going to take the damage. It seems like he wasn't really expecting that hit, as it kind of sends him reeling slightly, and he looks pretty bad.
Nice, max damage roll.
Alright. Anything else, Martos? Still have some movement and stuff like that. Yes, no? Hello?
Martos?
Still
Audio
there?
issues, maybe?
Still there?
Hello, hello,
Oh
hello.
boy. Okay.
Just wondering if you wanted to do anything else on your turn.
Oh no, that was it.
Perfect. Alright. Back to this guy. Alright. You want to do, my friend? This guy here turns to the guy next to him and says, Amos, you got the one with the rapier. And then takes aim past you, Draven.
Oh no.
And the crossbow bolt instead flies past your shoulder, Draven, and hits Sybil. 4 piercing.
I do not feel really great right now.
And that's the end of his turn. Alright, Draven, it's your turn now.
Oh god, these crossbowmen are no pain in the butt. But I'm right here with this guy.
This guy's looking pretty bad. He's breathing heavily, and he's got a pool of blood forming around his feet from the axe that's still lodged into him.
Yes, I suppose I should deal with you first.
Whenever he made that turn, I think I was the Metal Gear Solid noise.
Little exclamation mark appears above his head.
That's what I was waiting for.
4 piercing?
What's that? Oh, you were wrong.
I rolled a
Yeah,
24.
definitely hits, yeah.
Yeah, 4 piercing.
All right. He's turned to face you, but his movements are kind of sluggish with the blood loss, and so you stab him with your rapier, and he collapses to the ground.
Can I make it non-lethal?
With a rapier? Good luck.
Okay, whatever. Yes, Sybil, perhaps you should bonk one of them lightly.
Noted. Though I have a bit more to worry about at the moment.
Maybe Martos can take him. Take one.
Yes, they appear a bit slower than pigs.
Yo, someone kill him already.
Which that's a light chuckle.
God, what? I guess. Fuck it. I'll move up. That's my turn.
All right. Sybil, it's your turn now.
Okay. Is everybody else doing pretty well? Like health-wise?
I haven't lost any health.
You look across at the other members of your party. They seem to be in better shape than you. You're kind of feeling your injuries.
Wanted to make sure that my spell slots won't be wasted. Okay. I cast Cure Wounds on myself.
All right. Roll your healing.
9, nice.
Nice roll. You sort of place your hands over your injuries and concentrate for a moment. You see a slight glow, Martos, from under her hands. And then, Sybil, you feel the wounds begin to close up and the pain subside.
Nice. Okay. Turn over. Or my turn, that is.
Alright. Wits, it's your turn now.
Alright. First he's gonna run up to kind of get in front of Sybil, kind of like the little mom arm when you're about to like brake hard in a car to make sure she doesn't get hit again. And then he kind of whispers to Marcos, is Marlos right here, and Marlos and Sybil, hey, leave this guy alive. We need to question him. And then he uses message to tell Draven the same thing.
Which one? Beard or bald?
That message will use your action, just so you're aware.
Oh, okay.
It does use an action to do in combat. Outside of combat, message is pretty free, but within combat, it does use your action, just so you're aware. You can still do it, but you won't be able to cast anything else. It's just so you're aware.
Okay. Well then, yeah, give me a second then. Because next is...
No worries.
Who goes next? Is it this guy next?
Not quite.
Okay.
Wit's speech is a free action if you ever want to like yell something out. But I mean, if that you want to keep secret, then yeah, message would be a good idea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I was thinking to use message so that I didn't try to run away or anything like that.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
just talking is perfectly free, and you guys can do that whenever you want out loud. If they're farther away, I'd appreciate that you yell it, but you can talk whenever you
Okay.
want.
Does
It's the spell that takes the action. Yeah. Go ahead.
okay? Does Merlos go before this guy?
No.
I have to reconsider what I was about to do then. I guess just to make sure Draven stays safe, I'll use Ray of Frost on this guy.
All right. This time he's ready for you, and as the streak of white light or of blue light kind of flies across the room, he manages to duck out of the way slightly, and it sails right past him and causes a patch of frost on the wall behind you.
Are these guys still arm wrestling? Like, while all this is going
Um,
Wasted.
This
They're not
guy's
concerned.
this guy's just passed out on the table, and this guy's just kind of like laughing every time somebody gets hit.
on? Nice.
Enjoying the
Oh,
show.
no.
All right. Then wits, if that is all. You still have movement and things like that, but
I think I'm my turn.
perfect. This guy here, seeing you run up to him, Draven, he sort of like takes a couple steps back and turns to run away. Yeah,
I will take it.
go for it.
So much for take the one with the rapier.
All right, you hit him.
9 piercing.
All right, he turns around to kind of
It's
like
lethal.
run away from you. Hang on. Let me just. I just want to check something. I just saw something pop up that I wanted to. Why did D&D Beyond popped up something different than Roll20 did for me? Is that true for you
Okay.
too, Draven?
Well, let me look.
What did Roll20 pop up for you on the or what did D&D Beyond pop up for you on the game log?
I see I rolled an 18 plus 5.
Yeah, for me it's different numbers. That's really
Or it
weird.
was a 13 plus 5.
I've been using your Roll20 numbers because they're easier to look for, but I saw it pop up out of the corner of my eye and I was like, that was a different number. See, for me it was a 19 and a 13 damage. It's weird.
The 19's from earlier.
Really?
It
Oh, yeah, it
always
is
does
from-
custom rolls. Like, it just says custom roll. Like, the 13 was my attack roll there,
Oh,
and then
okay.
plus 5 was 18.
Yeah, it's not adding your modifiers in D&D Beyond. That's really weird. I'll stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't using it already, but I'll definitely disregard it for now, as Roll20 numbers are accurate. So let's use those.
You
It
just
seems
want
to
me
be
like,
some sort of-
call it out, like say the numbers.
You
whenever-
can. That helps me just because I don't have to look for it if I'm in a different tab. But it's not necessary because I'll use the Roll20 numbers for everybody since you're all using it.
Okay, gotcha.
I noticed that it wasn't giving you modifiers, and I wanted to make sure that was consistent for everybody else. But it's probably just something in between the extension and D&D Beyond that's not clicking right. I know they changed some
Yeah.
D&D Beyond stuff recently. Nevertheless, I digress. This guy, he turns to run away from you, and you sort of catch him in the back with your rapier, and
Brutal.
just sort of stab him right through. And that was 9 piercing. So he sort of stumbles forward as you stab him in the back, and he goes, ah! And sort of crashes into the table a little bit. And then spins himself around to face you. And is going to shoot you with his crossbow.
Ugh. Couldn't you just have a rest?
That'd be
Huh?
better for him too.
And he's going to
Doesn't
hit.
look healthy.
For 5 piercing.
Alright, damage taken.
with a furious look on his face, he spins around and fires a crossbow at you. And you feel this one. It lodges itself just sort of right between your ribs.
Yes, I would appreciate some help if the rest of you would care to join me up here.
We'll do next turn.
All right, Martos, it is your turn.
Here, grab my axe out of this dude,
That's free since it's interacting with the environment.
and I'm gonna hurl it at this dude.
Go for it.
Nice.
All right, in one swift motion, you pry the axe from the gap in that guy's armor, and then immediately send it sailing at the other guy, and it lodges in his chest. Roll your damage. It's Draven, the guy right next to you. An axe just slams itself into his chest, and he collapses.
Yes, well struck.
Oh, there's only one of them left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's restrain Beard over here then, I guess.
Now, next to act is this guy.
What?
A new player has joined the game.
And he sort of stumbles out of his seat slightly and over to you, Draven, and he's just like, you all right? Not really good at combat, but I can help you if you want.
Listen, fellow, I'm suffering quite greatly right now. If you have any assistance in the means of healing, I would prefer you to assist me now.
All right, I can try that.
Yes, please do.
He places one of his hands on your shoulder, and you heal for 6 hit points.
Oh my god, he's Jesus.
Nice, healing taken. Thank you.
Was that all right?
Yes, wonderful. Very much appreciated.
All right, I'm just gonna go duck behind that. And he runs away.
Yes, don't die.
He hides behind the bar.
When Draven thanked him, I just imagine him like patting on his head. Good job.
All right,
Yep.
Draven, you're feeling a lot better now, and it's your turn.
So we're keeping this one alive, right?
Hopefully.
If you don't stab him again.
Oh god, I don't have any unarmed strike damage. I literally only have piercing weapons and an ability that I'm not going to use right now.
Anyone have any... I already used Entangle.
Certain weapon types are able to do non-lethal, but I don't allow certain ones to do it because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. For example, you can't non-lethal with an arrow or a crossbow.
I wasn't thinking attacking. I was thinking, is there anything we have to restrain him, grapple him, pin him down?
An improvised weapon would be
Non-lethally, preferably.
an improvised weapon would be able to do non-lethal, or Martos, for example, you could hit him with the blunt side of your axe. Those kinds of things. Those kind of things would work. Of course, so will your staff as well. Those things would work. But when you do it, you just need to tell me that you're doing that non-lethally before you actually do the damage to them. Otherwise, I will kill them.
All right. I'm gonna drop my rapier on the ground then.
All right.
Oh god, can I one-hand wield one of these chairs? Like, just pick it up and like slam it immediately? Just like over the head, one motion?
Yeah, just sort of grab it and swing it all in one motion. Sure, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
improvised
gonna move up
weapon.
here then, and then just kind of swing that chair out onto him.
All right. In one motion, you scoop that chair out from the ground and swing it around.
What is my attack roll for an improvised attack?
I think it's just strength. Yeah.
Is it? -1. Does a 13 hit?
It does.
What is it? 1d4?
Amazing.
This is non-lethal.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Light
You,
bonk with a chair.
you toss down your rapier, dash across the room, and in one quick motion, grab the chair and just sort of swing it and just crash him over the head with it. The chair kind of splinters and blasts apart as you do so. And John, who's just sort of watching, just bravo, do it again. As this man
Yes.
collapses to the ground, unconscious.
Do
Oh
have
my
a
God.
seat.
I'm so glad we didn't accidentally kill any of them.
Very good one liner.
Thank you. Perhaps we're out of initiative.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second. Alrighty. So looking around you now, the tavern is in disarray, with some pools of blood on the floor and shattered chairs, and patrons just sort of all attempting to get out of your way during the fight. But now things have sort of quieted down. The patrons are just kind of eyeing you warily, like, what exactly just happened here? They're not sure what to think of you. They don't exactly know who's good guys and who's bad guys, as they didn't really witness the inciting incident. So everybody's
Okay.
just kind of eyeing you warily.
I'm really sorry about the damage we did to your bar, sir. Could I leave you with a couple gold and just apologize for this?
Well, I guess I'd appreciate the gold.
All right. Can I give him? How much would you say?
Just two. Two's fine.
Okay, 2.
Wits walks up. Can I get a mead?
Fair
That?
enough. All right.
He tosses 1 silver on the bar.
He scoops it up and just goes to grab you a flagon. Here you are.
Thank you. He starts drinking. Then he kind of walks over to go see the knocked out guy.
Draven's gonna
Explanation
be
for this. I'd love to hear it.
Draven's gonna be tying up the knocked out guy with some lengths of rope.
Yep. Yeah, you have that in your inventory, yeah?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. He's unconscious. He's not putting up any resistance to that.
Perhaps one of you should check him, make sure he doesn't have any identifying documents or letters.
Wits kind of fizzles through his pockets. See if he finds anything.
You find a small badge. And the badge itself is sort of circular, and it bears a sigil on it of a bird, perhaps a swallow. And next to the swallow's beak is a small music note.
How delicate.
Wits hands the badge over to Draven. What do you take of this?
Should I history check this, or is this something that I would not know at all?
You can history check it if you want. I won't stop you.
Lovely. +0 modifier. Let's go.
I should probably actually check it.
Could I see that for a minute?
Yes, certainly. Draven will pass it over.
All right.
Oh.
Even with a roll like that, you aren't able to place it. Doesn't look familiar. Nothing like you've ever seen in your place of origin. You've seen badges and sort of symbols of factions perhaps before, but this particular swallow and music note, you can't place it.
Hey, so can I take a look at it again?
Leave.
No, I need to try on a dress for.
Draven's
Oh,
gonna
dear.
go pick
Just
up his
mute.
rapier.
Just mute for a moment if you need to handle something
Second.
simple. I can mute you too if you want. So the way that shared checks usually work is whenever there's something that each of you guys want to try, if you just go through it one by one and everybody does the roll, then it skyrockets your chance of success. So usually what I do is I ask the person who is most likely to succeed to do it, and then if it's something that everybody can help on, which in this case it's not really. Like if it's we all want to push this crate over here, then the person who's most likely to succeed, and then if somebody's helping them, then you get advantage. Rather than doing 4 rolls all at once, that just kind of, it slows the game down and isn't very fun. Just to explain why I'm doing history checks like that.
Yep.
Which keeps sipping mead while he's waiting.
So you pass the little badge around, and each of you aren't quite able to recognize it. Certainly some sort of symbol that represents something, but as to what it pertains, hard to say.
I have no knowledge of this.
I think any of us do. Is there any way we can wake this guy up prematurely? Wits, do you have anything for, I don't know, wizard wake up people things?
I slap him.
Pour some water in his face.
Oh, cold bucket of water. Is there any water in here?
You have seen the bartender grab some water actually for this guy before.
I was about to say.
So you are aware that there is water in this tavern.
All right.
Yeah, Martus, you grab your weapon out of the corpse on the floor.
Which
And,
goes back to the
Wipe it
bar.
slightly to get the blood off.
Which goes back to the bar and calls the bartender. Hey, you got any water?
Yeah, I can get you a glass. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
A bit more than that.
Yeah, maybe like
Oh, more than that.
like maybe
Bucket.
I don't know, 2 glasses.
Oh, okay, 2 glasses. All right.
Get more if we can more.
Poking this unconscious man in the face.
He brings you 2 glasses of water.
Thank you. And
Must
then
have tired
tosses-
yourself out from that bar fight.
Yeah, almost as tired as this guy over here. And then he tosses a silver as a tip,
Thank you kindly.
and he runs back over here and just splashes one of the glasses straight in his face.
All right. You splash the water in this man's face, and he sort of splutters for a moment. What the hell? And then sort of looks around, blinking quickly, then looks down, sees himself tied up, and goes, "What?" And just sort of waits for you guys to say something.
Can I do an intimidation check with as a tiefling I have that cantrip where I can do spooky shit, right?
You have thaumaturgy, which is what you're referring to.
Can I do that?
Yeah, just describe
Along
what you
with
want to. You can describe what you want to do. Yeah.
I basically, I suppose, just my eyes light up with infernal flame, and I grab him by the shirt and demand, why the hell did you do this, and who sent you?
All right, make an in check for me. Though
Oh, wait, can I assist?
it will be improved. She'll be fine on her own.
Okay, good.
Improved, of course, by your thaumaturgy, as this is just this is not a wise wizard who knows exactly what you're doing. He'll be scared of it. So his eyes kind of go wide. He's like, "What?" He looks over at the others. You got to stop her. She's gonna kill me.
I am, right now, if you do not give me some answers. Who is that over there, and who sent you here?
When you said who was that over there, who are you referring to?
Sorry, I guess I meant, poor Cornifer.
Oh, you're referring to Cornifer or the guy who shot him?
Yeah, I guess I suppose I want to know why they're here to kill Cornifer. And us, assumedly.
He just kind of squirms in his ropes and says that's just a contract. I don't know more.
Who contracted you?
They don't give me that kind of information.
Did you ask him about the badge, or because I cut out?
Cheer. I hold up the swallow. Thanks.
What about it?
It's on your person. walking around with a badge and you don't know what it belongs to?
It's the sigil of the company.
What's the name of the company?
The fact that he's talking at all was the result of your success, but if you want more information, make one more intimidation roll.
Okay.
So while they're talking, I was kind of picking
Yep,
through the
that's more.
pockets. Of
The large, very muscly half orc with the great axe is going to give you advantage on that roll, Sybil.
You're over your shoulders.
Okay, need to mute for a second.
No worries. Does anybody else want to do something while she's muted?
Yeah, I was wanting to check the pockets of these guys. Do they have the same sigil?
You check the pockets, and each of them have the same sigil.
Okay. I'll bring that to the attention of the party.
You
Yes,
find
it appears
3
they're
more
all
badges, yeah.
working together.
What would I have to roll to ask him questions?
Um,
Does ours have the intimidation?
Depends on the direction. Are you trying to good cop or bad cop him? Good cop would be like persuasion. If you're trying to trick him into revealing information, that'd be deception. If you're trying to just straight out be like, tell me or I kill you, that's intimidation.
Oh, okay.
So it really depends on the angle you're trying to go for.
I'm trying to think how I would angle it as deception.
You could threaten that, or not threaten, but kind of explain like Cornifer was an important person, and say that it's likely to fall on this guy's family, like the
okay.
repercussions, or even if we don't know that specifically.
Okay. then
Yeah, that's the idea that I was meaning, is sort of like
I
lying
see,
to him to get him to reveal information.
All right. I'll roll for deception.
Go for it.
Yeah, that was just like
Nice.
an example.
All right, then tell him what you want to tell him.
Right.
Nice roll.
Look, that wizard back there, royalty, that came to visit us, and you just got him killed. I need you to tell me everything you need to know. I need about this company and where they are and what they do.
What?
Or else it's your family on the line.
What?
A company can handle a lawsuit, but an individual family who has to take checks from a mercenary company probably isn't going to.
Royalty? He seems to have believed what you said. They didn't tell me it was royalty. What? You mean? All right, fine. I can't tell you why. They don't tell me the details of the contract. Just tell me when to show up and who to kill. And well, you were all on the contract, and so was that old man.
All right, where is this company at?
There's lots of bases. I don't know where they're at right now.
Kind of like grabs his shirt. Where's the base you came from?
Out in the swamp.
Yes, the swamp. In which direction is that? Cardinal directions, preferably.
West.
Indeed. In this list, you said, was there not another name? Just Oz and Cornifer's?
That's all it said. It was meeting here. Your names and Cornifer's.
How many names were there on the list?
5.
Noted.
That's all they told me. That's all I know.
Just kind of lets go of his shirt and takes another sip of his mead.
One more question. When did you get this contract? Today? Yesterday?
Well,
this week?
I wouldn't know. They don't tell me when they get the contracts. It's just, once I know, I know. Just a flunky.
Draven's going to approach the barkeep. Yes, sir. What would you have us do with this ruffian when we are done with him?
Suppose you can leave him here. send for Royal Guard or Town Watch from Hanatawaria and suppose they can pick him up.
Understood.
Witzel realizes he still has that other glass of water. Isabel, you want this water?
All right, thank you.
All right. So you've gathered up the things that you dropped, Draven, your rapier, and Martos, your axe, and all of your things are together. The man is still just sort of tied and sitting on the floor here, just wriggling in the ropes. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna kill him.
Okay.
Mhm.
You can do that if you want.
Oh, did I have to roll?
Yeah,
the
just
PC? I'm
standard
rolling.
attack roll, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But with advantage because he ain't moving.
And he's tied up.
I think either way, I'm.
You don't need it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the rest of you, Draven returning from the bar, and the others sort of gathering up their things, just hear a thud, and then a bit of a squelch as this man topples to the ground. And you look over to see Martos buried her axe in his shoulder, and just sort of
This kind of
cleaved a big chunk off of him.
this turns to Martis. A little unnecessary, don't you think?
Suppose he
believe
could have
all
gone
was
back to the
necessary.
company and warned them.
I didn't think of that, but yes, see, I have future vision. I protected us. You are welcome.
You didn't think of that? Then okay.
Which just kind of sighs as he puts his knife back in the sheath.
Yeah, Draven sighs and face palms and yells out to Martos, "Yes, you owe me 1 gold for that rope you tore."
I don't care much.
Why he? Who would want to kill him?
I
Just
don't know.
an
We'll start looking
academic.
for his pockets. So what he got?
All right, you make your way over to the table where you were previously seated. And Cornifer is lying on the ground with a crossbow bolt buried in his neck. Quite cold and quite dead.
Yes, this one's already dead, Martos. What do you require over here?
So I was saying goodbye to my dear friend, Mr. Oatmeal, and now I'm gonna look for his pockets.
All right, you search through his pockets. You find a small coin purse of 20 gold.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it doesn't appear that he was carrying all that much on him. He just sort of came out to meet you guys, but doesn't really have too many personal effects. He does have some rather eccentric and fine vestments, though. He has this sort of long, elaborate cape, and he's wearing sort of silk clothing and a vest underneath it.
Well, I discovered nothing about him, but I'm 20 gold richer.
Nice.
Poor friend.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Mr. Oatmeal didn't deserve that.
Excuse me, bartender. Those men that left, are you able to identify them?
Sorry, what are you showing?
Talking about the guys that came in, the hooded guy and the one that
Gotcha.
shot the crossbow bolt. Like if the bartender knows them or recognizes them.
No, not any of my regulars.
Thank you.
I think the hooded fellow said his name was Gavin, but that's about it.
Gavin, I see. Group, it appears that these men are not regulars or from around here.
Suppose we have
laughing
something in common then.
DJ walking back in at this moment. Just corpses everywhere. Okay. So what would you guys like to do now?
Well, I think we should go investigate that company that the guy told us about.
He said they hired him through a building in the swamp.
Yeah, to the west.
West Swamp.
Hello, are there any villages west of here in the swamplands?
You must mean, Lutoxi Swamp, yes?
Suppose so, unless there's any other swamps to the west.
Not exactly, no. Villages. I think there's a small settlement, but never been there myself. I don't even know what it's called.
Okay.
Well, if you all are ready, we could head there. However, we can always rest. Just briefly.
Briefly would be nice, and if we could find like somewhere to buy armor, that would also be good.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that sounds nice.
So, short rest, find some armor.
Hmm?
Short rest, find some armor, head to the swamp. Game
Start
plan?
killing. Game plan. Let's go.
Alright.
Alright, do you want to look around Sleepy Hills by looking for armor? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. You can do that before or after your short rest, but short rests are generally done in leisure rather than searching for things.
Up to you guys. Before or after?
I mean, we can
Doesn't-
rest first.
Doesn't really matter, in truth.
Yeah, short rest would just be like us chilling around the tavern for like an hour. or
Yeah,
something.
just kind
Do
of
that.
Yeah, let's short rest now. just
taking a
look up the dead
breather,
bodies.
grab a drink, some water, maybe some food, things like that.
Grab another
Would be
drink.
your short rest. All right, toss him another silver, and he'll on it. I'm gonna go grab you another
Oh,
one.
by the way, do we get our cannot speak English. Do we get our spell slots back after a short rest, or is that a long rest?
It's a
or-
long rest.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. So, short rests are typically for expending hit dice or doing sort of minor tasks like attuning to an item or something like that, or studying something. That's what your short rests are for. Some abilities for certain classes and will get their stuff back at short rests as well. Like fighters get some things back. So just make sure that you know what things you get back at your short rest versus not. But your bigger things like your spell slots, those are always like you need a good night's rest to get those back.
Okay.
And in general, with long rests, it is implied that you need to be able to provide yourself food and drink as well to gain some of those benefits back.
Good to know. Never
So you
played
can't-
very long stories. I did Adventures League one shots.
Yeah, totally. It's fine. But essentially, yeah, the idea is that if you just starve yourself or dehydrate yourself, you're not really going to get the benefit of a good night's sleep.
Good to know. Okay.
So in general, when you go traveling, you sort of need to prepare and bring things with you. All right, so the four of you spend a few moments resting after your rather troublesome fight in the bar. All as you relax and order some more drinks, you see people kind of come and go. The barmaid just kind of straightening some of the chairs that you guys knocked around, picking up some of the splinters from the bar that you shattered slightly. So they're just sort of, in general, cleaning up, but they make sure to sort of dance around the corpses a little bit. They just kind of don't want to touch them yet. But yeah, you complete a short rest. So if any of you want to during your short rest, you can expend hit dice to heal. Though you guys are in relatively decent shape.
Yeah, I went ahead and healed to full with mine.
I was a
So
good wizard and didn't get hit.
perfect.
That's what you want to do as a wizard.
So for
That's why I stayed in the
reference,
back the whole time.
for reference, since this will come up frequently, D&D Beyond does have a short rest, long rest button that you might have already found. You just click those, and it'll pop up the amount of hit dice that you have and how much they do. Unfortunately, it won't roll them for you, so you do have to do that yourself and add your mod. But yeah, it'll let you keep track of how many hit dice you're expending during your short rest.
beyond 20, we'll let you roll it, but you do have to manually keep track of how many you use.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, that's basically just so that you cannot just endlessly abuse short rests in order to heal. That's what you hit dice for.
Where's the short rest option on D&D Beyond?
Right along the top, next to the campaign.
Oh, I
On
see.
that same set of like darker bar where your name is. So there's short rest and long rest buttons. And it'll kind of explain to you what they do if you want to read a little more about them.
I see now. All right.
Just make sure when you click take short rest, it'll come up with confirm. Click confirm.
Yeah.
That'll automatically reset any short rest cooldown abilities that you have. It'll refresh their little checkboxes.
All right. Then you spend some time just sort of regaining your energy after the fight. And then sort of all come to the conclusion about 40 minutes to an hour later that it might be time to start going and looking around town.
Okay.
Yes, Martos, perhaps you should lead if you need some armor.
Think.
Stepping over the bodies and avoiding the pools of blood, you make your way out of the Gilded Guest and off towards Sleepy Hills Square. All right. Returning to the square, you see the shopkeepers where they were when you left. It's now around 5 in the afternoon. As combat doesn't take all that long in D&D time. But then you short rested, so it's around 5 o'clock. Yeah, so you can feel kind of the air kind of just cooling down slightly around you as you walk around the square. The carpenter who you approached before just sort of looks up and says, "Oh, hello, Glenn. Something you needed?"
Wondering, you wouldn't happen to sell armor, would you? With your little trinkets.
Yeah, not really. Not really my area of expertise. I sell tools mostly. I don't suppose you're in the market for that.
I'm not. Do you know where to buy armor, though?
In Sleepy Hills, we don't really have a blacksmith.
What type of town doesn't have a damn blacksmith?
As you walk away, we're not a town, really. Just go to a rest stop.
Just a big gas station.
But Martos, you approach Witz, who is at this stall here, and the woman behind the stall says, "Hello, dearie. Can I get you something?"
You sell armor by chance?
No, more of a general store here.
I figured, yeah.
What kind of stuff you got?
I got well, some basic adventuring supplies, things that some travelers come through and offload to me. But mostly I sell produce and supplies and things like that for travels. But I have a couple adventuring things. Was something in particular you're looking for, or would you like me to sort of rattle through my stuff, if you will?
Nah,
I don't need
I'm just curious to
anything.
see. Thank you.
Indeed.
All right. Well, come on back if you change your mind.
Rest stop has nothing.
Excuse me, miss. I happen to notice that you have horses here.
Oh boy.
She turns towards you. Yes. Why do you ask?
Do you do much horseback traveling across the area?
Myself? No. I run the stable.
Have you spoken with many who have traveled this area?
From time to time, I suppose. Why?
Just wondering if you had any information, perhaps, on the swamp to the west.
I sort of stay away from it myself. I've heard some people travel through it.
Are there any dangers one should worry about if one were to travel through the swamp?
Well, particulars I can't say, but the fact that most people stay away from it sort of gives you the right idea, right?
Indeed. Well, thank you for your time, miss.
You could...
What was your name?
Checks notes. Limsaya, why? What's your name?
Draven. I was just curious in case I had to return to this rich, tiny town.
Yeah, well, Sleepy Hills is not much, but it's good enough for us.
Indeed, I'm sure it is. Thank you.
Oh, if you wanted to talk to Travels more, you could try talking to the woman there in armor. She seems like she travels around.
Appreciated.
Points.
Draven will kind of walk away and just, like, jerk his thumb towards the woman in armor, towards the party. I believe we could find some information on the swamp from this one over here.
Okay. You two coming?
Yeah.
Hello again, miss. I did not catch your name last time.
You again. It's Milliard, but you can just call me Millie.
A pleasure to meet you, Miss Millie. I was informed that you might have some information regarding the swamp to the west of here.
Yeah, I suppose. What did you want to know?
Oh, just any possible monsters or bandits or anything that might typically lurk within the swamp. Things to be aware of.
I can't really say I'm a swamp expert, really. But been around those parts once or twice. Monsters. Well, I suppose there's rather large alligators. I had to fight one of those off one time. Almost bit my arm off.
Alligators. You can eat those, correct?
I haven't tried, but maybe.
Mardos here would probably try.
Yes, Martos, have you eaten
Tastes
an
just-
alligator?
I have. It tastes nice.
Part is a bit gamey.
It's like chicken. It's like game chicken. You'll be fine. Don't worry.
And, well, an awful lot of insects, bugs in the swamp. If you're going to be staying the night in there, I'd recommend you buy a tent.
Oi. Okay, let's head back to the general store.
Understood. Much appreciated, Millie.
Happy to help. Can I ask why you're going to the swamp?
Well, you'll find the answer dead and with several quarts of blood soaked into the floorboards back at the tavern.
Oh, well, that's certainly not the most worrying possible answer to that question. All right. If you don't want to talk about it, I suppose that's okay, too.
Is she wearing any kind of gloves or gauntlets over her hands?
She's wearing sort of a gauntlet on her right that sort of moves up to sort of a an elbow guard. But on her left, she's not wearing anything at all.
You mind if I see what's under your gauntlet there?
Yeah, well, that's a weird question. I suppose? Why? She starts to kind of pull it off.
And I'm guessing the seal's not.
She pulls it off and goes, here you go, and just sort of waves her hand in front of your face. Is that what you're looking for?
And he was kind of, just goes like, alright, never mind, thank you.
She just...
Fetish of yours, weird.
Yeah, Millie whispers to you, Driven, that's a weird one. Why exactly was he doing that?
I don't know, but don't touch him. Wince, you should really control yourself, asking women to remove their garments in public.
You wouldn't happen to be chasing after those other folk, would you?
The mercenaries? Saw them come in?
Well, I saw 3 people just go running off through the square.
Those would be them. We are looking for them, yeah.
Well, they were headed sort of south down the path.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, well, and he says you were going to the swamp. Well, she sort of thinks for a moment. Well, there's a path that hooks off from the south that goes into the swamp.
It appears we have found our path. Millie, do you recognize this sigil? And I'll show not my hand sigil, the company sigil.
Nope, sorry.
Well, thank you anyway.
Thank you,
Happy to be-
Milliard.
Happy to be of service.
Which just keeps his
Right.
hand in his pocket and his head down because he knows he made a mistake.
I'm going to approach the general store. Hello, do you have any tents in stock at the moment?
Yes, actually, I do. I have 2-person tents. 2 of them, actually.
Convenient. How much are they?
2 gold each.
Don't worry, Sybil. I will purchase one.
I'll purchase the other.
Alright, you hand over the gold and she hands you sort of parcels that are sort of the folded up tents. Here you are then.
Thank you, miss.
Anything else, Settle?
Nope, that'll be it. Good luck with your business.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Alright. South it is.
So, Sybil, if we find an alligator and decide to eat it, you wouldn't take any offense to that, would you?
Don't much care for them, if I'm going to be completely honest. You can have free reign.
Oh, wonderful.
Anyone know how to cook?
I prefer my dishes raw.
Ah, fun.
All right. Then, the 4 of you turn your heading south, down the path. And off, stretching out in front of you, you can see wide open grasslands as you follow this sort of dirt path. Just give me 1 second. Just want to double check something.
I just want to say I love everyone's character so far. You guys are doing great.
Yes, everything has been very, very great so far.
That's like how less than 5 seconds in, there's already doesn't do it much.
Yeah, sorry, Draven's an asshole.
He's the
I
most
love
polite,
Draven.
he's the
I'm
most
enjoying
polite, elegant asshole on the planet.
Mhm. Have y'all
He's
ever played
very
Baldur's
fun. I
Gate?
love him.
He sounds like the vampire in Baldur's Gate.
All right. Then you make your way about 20-ish minutes down the path to the south, out into the Athentari Plains. And the road stretches off ahead some distance, and you can kind of see further off ahead of you to the south. The road continues, but Martos, as you arrive here, you see that it kind of forks off to your right, and then a little bit further down the path off to the left. On the path to the right, you can see a fallen tree that sort of blocks the road, and next to it, scratching his head, is a portly fellow and a woman standing next to him.
So, did she say we had to go directly south or then south and...
She said that there was that they headed south from Sleepy Hills, but that there was a path to the south that hooked west.
I have a very poor memory. Thank you.
No worries. When it's that quick, like within the canon time, I have no issue with just reminding you guys of stuff.
Okay.
But every once in a while, I will tell you, I will warn you guys. Every once in a while, when it's something that I think you should know, because it's like really important, I'll tease you guys by making you do int checks to remember things. So just be ready for that. Yeah. So you turn towards this fallen tree along the path, with the two figures standing next to it. What would you like to do?
To do that,
What's that?
can we cut around it?
Yeah, you can walk around it. It's not blocking like the entire road. It's blocking the path.
Just want to sit in it.
Tree.
As you sort of approach, the portly fellow just kind of motions with a hand and calls you over. You lot, can I have a moment?
Need help there?
Well, you see, I'm a merchant who travels these roads pretty frequently, and I know that this is it's a path that many other merchants take, often with carts and such. So, you wouldn't happen to mind moving this tree out of the way?
Shouldn't help out, right?
A little past my prime myself, bad back and all, and well, me daughter here,
Understandable.
not able to lift it, but perhaps you lot.
How much do you think it would take to move this tree?
At least a couple of you. But
Oh, okay.
Martos, you feel pretty confident.
Martos, perhaps you should cut the tree up like you did the bar in the tavern.
I'm thinking about cutting something else up.
Necessary. We could work together and move it. She doesn't have to do it herself.
I suppose I will assist if you require it.
You.
Same here.
Alright, do we all make strength checks?
Yeah. And we'll add them together.
Oh, whoops.
Damn, wizard strong.
Ah, wrong button. I am not very strong.
I am not either. I just got lucky.
Do we make it?
All right. Wits, you're feeling in great shape today. You got your hips aligned with your
It's from all the
knees.
meat.
You're lifting with your legs, not your back. You're numb to any sort of pain from the meat, and you're just feeling good today. And the rest of you, pretty good shape. But you managed to lift the tree from the ground. Martos, you noticed that Sybil is probably not really helping at all. Just sort of like going through the motions. But between all of you, you're able to lift the tree and sort of pivot it off to the side.
Okay. That fixes your problem there, sir.
And the man, as you move it out of the way, just says, "Bravo, good show. Thank you kindly, friends, for your help." And begins to rummage around in his bag. Here, something for your troubles.
Thank you. How much is it?
Who holds out their hand? He'll just hand it to the first person.
Draven, I guess.
I was like, we were all very polite. We all did not go for it.
Yeah, if this was Hearth and Home, they would have just been like, give it, me. All right, Draven, you hold out your hand, and he hands you a small glass bead, slightly larger than a marble, about the size of perhaps an olive or so.
Yes, this does not appear to be a bag of gold coins, sir. What is this you've given?
Something even better. As you examine it, It is sort of a dark, sort of black tinted glass, and you can see through it slightly. And as you sort of look at it, you can see a crackle of blue light beneath the surface of the glass sphere.
Ooh, can I do an Arcana check?
You can.
Please, if you have anything you're able to discover from this,
Oh, that was
Raven will
horrible.
pass it over.
Well, Sybil, it certainly is round.
Yes, do keep your eyes open when examining it.
I'll take note of that.
You're gonna make an Arcana check too.
You can, yeah, sure. Both of you look at it at the same time, we'll say. All right, Wits, you sort of narrow your eyes and squint and examine it. It crackles with this blue energy, and you realize it's sort of surging with lightning. And as you examine it, the merchant speaks up, and he says, "You know what that is? Lightning in a bottle."
How aptly named.
Just give it a toss at something that's troubling you, and gives them a right good zap. Use them all the time when I need to get away from bandits or something like that. Useful for self-defense.
Thank you. It's very helpful.
Might find it useful.
Throwing it out of curiosity.
Might find it useful on your travels.
Yes, do you have any gold to go along with it?
God, Draven.
I'm a merchant. I'm not easily parted with my gold friend.
Well, as a merchant, then you should understand, as you had requested of us, moving this tree will allow merchants to come through and trade.
Yes.
As you have given us an item, I assume
I gave you a
some
reward.
value. You can achieve far greater profits now that we have eliminated this obstacle. Oh god, can I roll persuasion?
I suppose.
It was a bad one. I'm sure it's going to be a high DC.
Oh, wow.
Not persuasive.
Okay, he just kind of looks at you and just kind of blinks and goes, "I gave you a reward. It's just moving a tree, friend. Wait, you want a bloody castle or something?"
Draven kind of mumbles to himself, "Wouldn't mind a castle."
Oh man, put Draven in his place.
Well, thank you kindly, the rest of you, I suppose. Should be getting going.
Except Draven.
Yes, let's get out of here.
Safe travels.
You as well.
So what, like, this road, how traveled does it look? Can I, like, survival check for any fresh tracks?
You can see the odd footprint or horse hoof print. It doesn't look like nearly as traveled as the one that you just turned off of, this sort of southern path. That was probably the most traveled path. This one looks a little sort of narrower, a little less traveled, but there's still footprints from time to time, though they don't look particularly recent.
Gotcha.
Say that merchants travel this road a lot,
And
so it can't be horrible.
it's not abandoned, no, but from the footprints, it's kind of hard to discern what's what. Just boots going both ways.
Yeah, I figured. Makes sense.
All right.
I'm gonna mute for a second.
Actually, I think that is where we'll end our session for today.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah, good time to call it.
As it's a perfect time to call it before we get into something else. It'll probably be longer than 3 minutes before we move down the road. So, that's where we'll call today's first session.
Nice. That was really fun.
That was a lot of fun. You guys,
Oh yeah.
I made enemies and friends.
you guys did great.
And Draven.
Really, really
Somewhere
good.
between
And Draven.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, you guys did great. Really good role playing. You guys played your characters all very well. You stayed in character a ton, which I always appreciate. So, thank you guys for being great.
You guys are fairly new to D&D, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely new.
I'm not. When I was like 14 or 15, I did play a lot of Adventurers League, but I've never played a campaign before.
Gotcha. You guys killed it. Like, really good job
I agree.
interacting and stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of dead air, which is great because early in campaigns, a lot of times the groups will kind of struggle to figure out who's going to go first talking, like how the order of things are going to go. But I think everything flowed pretty smoothly this session. So
Yeah, it was a
great
ton of
job,
fun.
everyone.
The most important part is that it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm just happy I established Wits as a alcoholic.
Yeah.
There's always one in every party.
Dude, it wouldn't be a Grand Lorien campaign without one.
Without day drinking, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, Wits really does embody me.
So
You have an
if
alcoholic.
any of you guys can see the stream, you can see this little splash screen that I made if you're curious. As I know people
Oh,
like
that's
to look
cool.
Yeah, it
Ah,
looks good.
cute.
at. So your names light up when you talk.
Except,
Dope.
So that they can determine who is speaking. All right. So I'll do my little like quick spiel, but you'll learn to almost recite it word for word probably at some
Oh
point.
lord. We'll start joining in.
I think Luno at this point can do it for me. But next actual stream will be Friday. We don't have a Seas of Sand. We don't have a Seas of Sand session on Friday, so it'll just be a chill stream of me and anyone who wants to hanging out. The next actual session of this campaign will be next Wednesday. So it'll be a weekly thing, always on Wednesdays and 7 p.m. Eastern. Unless anything comes up, then I'll update everybody about any sort of schedule changes. But that's more about you guys, whether or not you have scheduling issues. Just let me know, and we'll change things. But yeah, so this time slot is Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. All of our streams are now at 7 p.m. Eastern, which makes things easier to remember, which is great. And then, other than that, we might do something on Sunday, chill again, but I'm not sure. And then Tuesday will also be chill because we don't have a Hearth and Home because there's some people busy for that one too. So the next actual D&D session will be you guys again for session 2.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with like basically a full week of no D&D? Jeez.
And, well, after this week, I'm gonna be way more free than I was before.
oh yeah, I'm already more free than I was when I originally started this.
Well, as you guys are players and I've introduced you and everything, I do casual streams from time to time.
Okay.
Where I just kind of talk about things, or we work on like background stuff that people can sort of throw their input in. So during those streams, you can, if you're free, you can stop by the stream and talk to us. Or if you want, I always extend to players that I usually just go in the general on the Discord. And if you want to stop in and just chat with me, that's perfectly fine too. We just kind of hang out and talk.
Okay. And Saturdays?
Saturdays are nothing. I don't stream on Saturdays.
Okay, when did you say the improv session thing? What?
Oh,
Majig?
Sour is just.
Don't listen to Sour.
Don't listen to Sour. Stop confusing people, Sour. Sour is one of my players from Friday. Valbella on the Discord. She's busy this Friday, which is why there's no session. She's our resident troublemaker. Don't listen to her.
Alright, I'm starting another tic-tac-toe game.
I was not aware I had a thing on my hand, by the way.
Were you not?
Yeah, I was completely not aware. I was like, oh shit, do we have things on our hands? And I was like, I guess we do. I gotta
That's
go
so
with
funny.
it.
Okay, because you improved it perfectly in the way that like nobody noticed. Because it's even in your your D&D Beyond campaign thing.
I didn't even check it out.
Marcos
Like,
wasn't
I
here
don't
for
know.
the meetings. You just happened to be around.
Okay, that's super funny.
Too busy
Yeah.
chasing pigs in the woods.
She
You did a
chased
good
that
job with
same
my
pig
intro, too.
all the way here.
I was hoping. I was like, oh man. I'm horrible at introductions and like getting with the group in the beginning, so I was like, if I just keep talking, everything's gonna be fine. and it was fine.
Yeah.
Everything
Awesome.
was great.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yes, Valbella is our emote, which you can see. One of our emotes. Our Granlow blush and our Granlow scheme is Killian from a while back. But yeah. So it was nice to be able to introduce Kale Tahira to everybody. So I've been
Can we get a copy of that map?
I don't know, you should probably buy one in game.
Okay.
He tried.
I need it for OOC reasons.
Well, you can always go and watch the VOD and pause it.
Can I roll a persuasion
Right.
check on you to give us a map?
We've done that before where people out of character have rolled
We have.
persuasion. That's like you joke, but we've actually done that before. So. But yeah. For now, I'm not going to release it. Think about maybe buying one and then I'll give it to you whenever you want.
Aight.
It's usually how I run maps. But yeah, the Phalanx have been sort of teased throughout a bunch of other campaigns, but this is the first time anybody's actually seen those full maps, and we've actually run a campaign in this location, so it's nice to be able to. Sorry, pestering you for character heights. She needs to know that
Earlier,
she's.
and I was like, I can't now.
She needs to know that she's the tallest person in Grand Lorien.
Oh wait, how tall? How tall are you, Sour?
Um,
I'm about to grow a couple inches.
Valbella is 10 feet tall.
Okay, never
My
mind.
God.
She's more of a building than a person,
Do you
really.
actually roll check for that?
Now, to be fair,
She's just lengthy.
that is through a mistake in understanding of Furbolg heights, and it is not the normal height for Furbolg. But I let her keep it because I thought it was funny.
It is, yes. You,
So she bonks her head on every roof she's ever been in.
yeah, you gotta slither around.
But for gameplay purposes, you are more like 7 or 8 feet. So, Valbella.
Draven is 5'11", but he says he's 6 feet tall.
That's good RP.
I love that.
I honestly and truly don't even remember what I said. What's to?
Dude,
Probably like 5 something.
I'm 5 foot.
You set widths to 5'10".
5'10". Yeah, I see it now. 5'10".
Shortest one.
I'll make a whole list of insults
Metagame bullying.
Just for Draven.
just for Draven. I'm just gonna throw it at him.
You don't even like save them for situations like right at the beginning next session. You start reading them off.
I like to think when Val says that she's the shortest Furbolg in her family, that the other heights are just like tiny little fractions taller.
Oh man. It's a pretty fun mental image.
But yeah. Other than that, I don't have a ton to talk about for this stream. For our wrap up. Other than thank you all for watching. I think something happened earlier that I was not able to talk about because I was doing stuff, but I think somebody converted a Prime sub to a normal tier 1, which thank you for that.
Yeah, it was tasty.
Tasty, thank you. Perfect. Thanks, Tasty. But other than that, I'm happy to finally get this party going and introduce them to the realm that we have here and all the other characters. Because it's a fun community we have here, and this is a great set of characters, so I'm looking forward to future sessions.
Me too.
It's gonna be fun. Happy that we were able to be part of your apparently world expansion. It's cool.
Yeah, it's basically like a World of Warcraft expansion.
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
you,
happy I got a free DLC.
so you guys, we've been playing in like another continent, like all the other groups. So that was like a massive lore dump at the very beginning. I was like scrambling to write down the names of some of those places and stuff. So this is
Yeah.
exciting.
I checked your guys' wiki before, like when Jay messaged me on Reddit, like on the AMA or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Player
LFG.
meetup. Ugh. Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff on there, and eventually we'll drop that map too on the world demo.
It's a good segue to your shilling, Jay.
Yeah, if you want to check out more information on the world, the realm of Grand Lorien, in the About section below on my Twitch, there is a link to the World Anvil, which is basically, it's sort of like a wiki, yeah, you're right, that just sort of describes a lot of different things in the world. It has locations, the different kingdoms, the different factions, the races that we use, as well as all sorts of different stuff. Some characters on there as well, the Divine Pantheon that we use, all of which is like homebrew stuff from my own writing. This is a living world, if you're not familiar with that, where all of the characters are existing within the same timeline and persistent world, which means that they could potentially bump into each other. I know it's a little bit more complicated for these guys who are far off across the seas, but
Okay, do you do like games where like multiple campaigns meet up for a crossover episode?
yeah, we've done sort of similar things to that. So, for example, something that has happened is one of the groups went to the home of one of the other guys he was currently all the way across the kingdom. He was an entirely different kingdom, but they visited his childhood home and met his parents and stuff without really even knowing who he was. We've had a couple little crossovers of characters. NPCs also persist throughout the world, so NPCs will travel from one location, meet one party, and then move to the other location and bump into the other ones. As well as any actions that you guys take are persistent and have consequences for the world. Those can be good consequences too. So saving somebody will mean that they get to continue and go and do stuff, and could potentially show up in another campaign.
Like Raven's clone.
Or killing something could mean that it can't show up somewhere later and not complete something, either something nefarious that it was planning on doing, or maybe you just accidentally killed somebody who was trying to go do something good. All those things sort of persist, so
That's cool.
it's all one big MMO, basically.
How long have you been doing it? Like, what do you...
Streaming for about, I don't know, under a year-ish.
Okay.
But the actual writing of it for quite some time, as it's sort of like the culmination of a lot of different ideas I've had throughout my entire life that I've sort of placed together.
That's so cool.
But the actual like formation of Grand Lorien was about maybe 4-ish years when I actually like solidified it into something. 4-ish, 5-ish years.
Nice.
Yeah, and even your for some of you, even your character creation can have major consequences for the world. Coughs loudly at Gilly. For those who don't know, Gilly was a character from a while back who was heavily cursed.
Oh boy. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about Killian on your Discord.
Oh yeah, good old Killian. That's a different character than Gilly. Don't get them confused.
Wait, what?
Gilly was
There's
a dude.
Gillian and Killian?
Gilly was a half-elf male, Gilder or Gilly, and Killian is a halfling female. They were in the same campaign though, so I know it's confusing.
Wasn't she
That's
the tall
horrible.
one? Wasn't she the tall one that I called a three-quarterling?
Yes, she's the tallest halfling, so just basically a short person.
Yeah, I call her three-quarterling.
Exactly. Yeah, she's the face of our scheme emote. If you see it in the chat, that's Killian.
A lot.
The
Hey
smug little schemer. Gilly is the dead one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Killian's played by Shiny Pants, aka Shinx, who also plays Fallon May in Seas of Sand.
Yes, and as she's mentioned, Fallon is
Which campaign was
Something.
Killian in exactly?
Killian was in Class of Crows.
Okay.
And Class of Crows was the one that was at the Arcane College of Nil-Levant. They were doing basically magic school.
Oh boy.
And they're actually in between seasons, so they haven't finished their campaign. But they're on their summer break essentially. And then we'll come back to them a little later when they do their second year. They're going on a trip abroad to the Arctic. So that'll
Should
be fun.
fun.
Medieval Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much is that, yeah. The headmaster of that school is the symbol that I use for myself.
Oh, really?
That's that character. If you're wondering who that is, that's Charlemagne Shackleford, the headmaster
cool.
of the school. He's a lich.
Reminds me kind of like of the Discworld Death like thing.
Yeah. There is a bit of a similarity there. You're right.
Jay, I hate to break it to you, but we're defacing every single tile apparently.
Wow, jeez, I just zoom out. Okay, hang on, I gotta show the chat too. There you go.
Oh gosh, I wasn't looking at Roll20.
Yeah, I
A lot
was
has been happening.
I was zoomed in on this. I zoomed in on this section, completely oblivious to the chaos, and then I zoom out.
We were hiding it from you.
Oh god.
We're just gonna deface every tile now.
Oh wow.
Here, I'm gonna draw the bottle of lightning.
I'm excited to see how exactly destructive that thing is.
I just want to throw it at something random, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Don't throw it at me.
I feel like if I give it to Marta, she'd throw it at you.
Yeah.
I would.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That was early in Hearth and Home. Sildren lost an eye to a boss.
That's true, that did happen.
And then he just kind of was like, alright, I'm about to head out, and he did.
If you listen I, do you get like disadvantage on perception checks and stuff?
Depends. There are items that can offset that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, only if it's moving towards you or away from you quickly because of the depth perception and all.
And a perception.
Am I ever gonna have to like take a negative modifier from the amount of mead that Wits drinks?
For like your standard meads and ales and stuff like that, I wait till you drink a ton of it before I make you make cons. But if you're drinking like spirits and stuff, like whiskeys, bourbons, or anything more potent, then that's when I'd maybe make you do some con saves earlier.
Okay.
The Hearth and Home drank a rather potent one called Banshee's Breath, and it made two of them pass out on the floor instantly, which is fun.
Yeah.
They were day
I
drinking,
was-
of course.
I was thinking about it, and then I was like, I'll just make them drink anyway.
Did we ever actually drink any, like, humanoid, well, not humanoid, but human or elven or dwarven brune ales in House of Crows?
I don't think you did. I think you only drank like goblin beer and then fish beer.
Yeah, I think so too. Only monster ales.
You just drank all the grossest stuff.
Yeah. Keep that in mind, Whispers in the Woods. Ales
What?
come from monsters as well.
Oh boy.
Well,
Which can be like Gremlin holding all the ales.
yeah, intelligent
in his
races
arms.
know how to brew alcohol.
So there's plenty of treasure to be had in the wilderness. Wits.
Wonder. It's the only treasure he cares about. I'm gonna make it a thing where he like asks every person why he got anything to drink.
Oh god. I'm getting a gimmick.
So we're gonna run just like a kid who's like, "Hey kid, you got any meat?"
Ugh.
We're gonna get to like the final boss of the campaign. I'm just gonna ask him once they have a drink at the nearby tavern. I know you're like big and bad and all, but like
Pick up some enchantment spells and force them to have a drink at the tavern with you.
Cracking open a cold one with the BPT.
it's like, all right, you ready to fight now? Yeah, sure. Oh my god, that's a strong cat.
All powerful.
I think there was somebody in chat asking before. I don't know if I ever saw any answer to it. About the character art. We know that Draven's was done by Shinx, and then Sybil, you did yours yourself, and Martos, you did yours as well, right?
I did.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So these were done by the players themselves, for those who weren't aware.
Yeah, I really liked your art, Martos. It was really good.
Thank you. It took forever. I also have a tiefling one.
I
That's
added
my other character.
I added the background to Sybil's because you couldn't see it with the white skin
White
on
on white.
white
yeah, I gave you a
background.
PNG.
Yeah, so I added a little bit of a fitting background for you. Yeah, also, you guys are artists, so I can give you the artist role too on the Discord if you want.
Nice. Yeah, I was
Um,
wondering about everybody's like kind of full characters too, because I did do a few things where he did this, and it's kind of hard to guess what the costumes are like from the shoulders up.
Yeah, so it won't actually change anything for you guys. Giving you the artist role, it'll just mean that you're represented as an artist on the server, but it actually doesn't change your permissions because players can post on the art channel no matter what.
Yeah.
But the art channel is for any art that you do that is related to the world, but I am pretty loose about it since it's a small community. So it's any sort of D&D related art that you have, you can post it there whenever you want. Don't feel like you need permission. So if you want to post the full bodies of your characters, feel free to do so there whenever you want. Because I know people want to see the full drawings that aren't just the shoulders up. But yeah, it's always nice to have artists in the community. So just want to make sure that you guys had that tag as well. All right, you and you. All right, I gave you both the tag as well. We can take a look at them right now if everybody just wants to hang out. I can just pull them up here.
I didn't actually draw a full body of. Actually, well, I did. One sec. Has a bit more on it though.
Here's our full body of Draven. Done by our very own Shinx. Very impressive.
I was bamboozled. Looking at the top, I thought he's wearing.
Oh, he a skinny boy.
Yeah, he's wearing it's like a bit of a poncho type thing, but he's got a hood on it. He typically wears his hood up.
He's got a hoodie. He's got like a medieval hoodie. I love it.
It's like
He's a little
crop top
edgy
hoodie.
boy. Like,
Yeah, fancy emo
I mean, he's a
boy.
vampire basically, so I expect nothing less.
Okay. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anybody else have full bodies?
You can
Might
post them.
as well
You
update.
can post,
But it's
you can
not
post them later if you need to find them. But if you want to show them now, I can show them on stream. For everybody.
Okay.
Also, for those of you who are not aware, !Discord in our chat will give you the join link.
Okay.
That's not for you guys.
Uh.
You're already in.
I did draw these, and her full body
What?
is included in that.
What?
That's amazing.
That's amazing. What? That came in. That's incredible.
Wait,
He just throws this at us from nowhere. Like, look,
this is sick.
look
This
what I
is-
did.
This is so good. Okay, I have to show it.
Thanks.
Chat.
I draw
Show
every
me.
day. Oh, I
Chat.
love her full body. She has 2 braids. Okay, I was drawing her with
Yeah.
1.
Oh my
This
god,
is-
I love that.
I
Fantastic.
also have a PNG that's like has some special color stuff on it. Which one is it? This
Okay,
one.
like I wasn't incredibly
No.
attached to the art of my character because I put off a Pinterest, but now I am. Like that's awesome.
That looks
Thanks.
incredible. So good.
Beautiful.
Okay, this one. Oh.
I gotta show the
Can I
other one
save
too,
this?
because there's
I wanna
two
save this.
two versions of it. Okay, so this is one of them, and then here's the other one, chat.
There we go.
They're both
Oh,
so
really?
good. That's so good. Man, I love them.
We are more
Thanks.
connected now. You have connected us.
I really
That's
like drawing
amazing.
like fantasy characters. This is my favorite thing to do. I do it like every day.
Yeah, well, you're in
Yeah, I love all these.
you're in very good company then, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantasy and stuff like that that's us in this server. So
I wish I could draw better. I can only draw on AutoCAD because that's the kind of thing I have to work on. But I don't
Right.
really know how to draw.
here
stuff.
is our full Martos, everybody. With her,
Really love that. It's
she's
adorable.
got the double reins.
She has really nice armor.
Yeah.
Thank you. She really has no
Mhm.
armor in game, but armor in the art.
Cosmetic armor. It's
Just
actually
the
made out
less.
of cardboard and canon.
It's all fake.
I'm interested to find out in character how Martos lost one of her horns.
We don't go there.
Oh,
We
no.
see if
Boar.
we get. We
Was
see
that
if
why
we
she was
connect
chasing the
enough.
boar? The boar
No.
steal it?
No,
And this
I lost
Funny
it long ago.
this PNG of it's nice too.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, these are amazing. All this art is so good. But yeah, that you guys have discovered the purpose of that art channel. So whenever you want, as long as it is relatively D&D based, feel free to post any art you do,
When did you make
because
that?
everyone here will love it.
Make the two of them. After Wits finished his thing, and I was able to kind of draw some stuff with that, I guess.
I love it so much. Yeah.
Thanks. I really like the fact that there's like a defined like basically logo for the campaign. It made it really fun to like do that.
Yeah, that's the new thing that I've been doing for all the new campaigns, is giving them like symbols that exist kind of in universe.
I love how well
Um,
like you captured the personality of all of them really well too.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Need to give some Martos some new armor though.
Some non-cardboard armor.
so I don't think
Yeah, cardboard armor.
I don't think we ever actually explicitly said what any of your classes were out loud.
A lot of
You
people
guys-
figured him out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's-
people figured out Sybil pretty easily, but you guys can keep a secret from them if you want.
Somebody already guessed mine. I think they already got me.
Chat,
Like,
feel
that weapon
free to
kinda
throw out
like
your
that.
guesses if you want.
I told them mine in chat because I think they were thinking I was
Mm.
a rogue.
Okay, yeah. I was seeing them do that, so I wasn't sure how many of them they'd actually guessed, but
I mean, I would have guessed Rogue too if I'd known.
Yeah. I mean, he plays like a rogue would. He doesn't
Yeah.
play like.
That's similar
What he is.
to. I mean, other than like the spells and cantrips I chose, but like that's kind of what I wanted. Because originally I had Witch as a rogue. But then
Gotcha.
I changed it.
you're getting closer, Shinx. Got 2 out of the 4.
I had what's it? I know I'd mentioned this like to when I can like Session 0, but I had to base my character off of Mirage from Apex.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that like the like Mirage's actual last name is Wits. That's why I chose Wits.
Not quite, Shinx. DJ's getting close. Yeah, you guys have puzzled it out pretty well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think these characters are pretty fun because they've got kind of unique presentations of them. I bet a lot of people when he first showed up, I bet a lot of people thought that Witch was the rogue.
I did use message.
But yeah, These are super fun characters, and all this art of them is great.
Hmm?
So yeah, that's all I have to say. We can continue to hang out if you want. But if anybody is busy, feel free to leave. The way that after session works is sometimes we hang out and chat after. But if you ever need to like go do things, feel free to excuse yourself like as soon as I say the session's over. You don't have to stay, because I know people have busy things that they need to take care of during certain nights. So
Let's hear.
never feel like you need to stick around, though we do sometimes.
Yeah, leaving to eat after sessions is pretty popular, so don't feel bad if you need to do
True. Yeah, everybody
Next time I'm
can.
gonna order DoorDash during the session.
I believe that's happened before, so you wouldn't be the first one.
Oh, I was munching down on some like Chinese food when we were playing.
Yeah, that's
So I
pretty
was
cool.
like, I was what was it? I was on campus studying, and then I looked at Discord, and then I was like, oh wait, time zones are a thing. So instead of the session starting in an hour, it's starting now. And I was gonna get food on the way home, but I didn't do that. 'Cause,
Yeah, I'm usually late to everything, so I like kind of was hanging around like 20 minutes in advance.
I normally do that too. But like I said, I forgot time zones exist. And then it was funny too because I thought for a second the other way around. I'm like, oh, it's actually starting an hour later than normal. Ah, okay. And then I saw they are all in the PC, and I'm like, oh, I was wrong.
If you have a PNG of the first piece of art where they're all kind of standing and next to each other, where it's a bit more of a kind of horizontal orientation. If
I
you
don't
send,
have one downloaded right now, but I do have my
Doesn't-
tablet here, and I also have the file hasn't been deleted yet, so I can
Doesn't-
do that.
doesn't need to be right now. Just send me the like highest res PNG you have of that one, and I'll make it the thumbnail for you guys
Ah, cool.
Awesome.
because I love that art, and it's a
Very
great group
sick.
shot. But yeah, this was a ton of fun. I knew that this would be a good group, and I'm glad that everything turned out as I thought it would.
I'm happy too. This was so fun.
It was really fun. Sorry about the few interruptions this round.
That's not a big deal. It happens all the
fun.
time.
I do share a room, and my desk is in my room, so my sister walks in here very frequently.
It's
and
it's
that-
really it's really not a big deal. Just say something like I'm muting for a sec, and then mute if you need to, just to let us know that you muted, so that we're not like talking to you and then waiting. But it's perfectly fine if you need to mute. We just go, and if you're in the middle of a conversation, we just go, okay, the other people, what are you doing? So if things come up and you need to mute or run to a different room for a second, just let me know. It's perfectly fine.
So no, okay.
Never feel bad about that kind of stuff.
All right, I think I need to head out. I need to take care of some.
Of course, yeah. Take care. We'll see you. See you next week. Feel free to stop by on any of our casual streams too.
I might stop by. Actually, I don't know if we have an episode. So I guess I'll see y'all next week then.
Take it easy, Wits.
So, see ya.
Take care. Yeah, Classic Crows had internet drops all the time, so we know about interruptions.
Yeah, every now and then those Sunday games, Roll20 just dies.
The worst one was when Roll20 just completely crashed on me and then spoiled a surprise I had for them. That was brutal.
yeah.
I was so mad about that one. It made a map appear that shouldn't have yet and spoiled that I had a sort of like quote unquote Christmas surprise for them.
I think
Which is
the
Winter
most
Winds. here.
upset people for that. Well, you were very upset about
Me,
it.
yeah.
And Gilly was upset because
Because I
she
took it
wanted
away.
to see the map. Yeah.
Because I took it away from you guys. I didn't let you see the full thing. Yeah.
Oh man. Anyone who's still watching who hasn't already followed Grand Lorien on Twitter, make sure to do that.
You can.
Jay posts updates on there, like if any technical issues happen. So it's always good to keep an eye on that.
True.
Okay.
And if you haven't, you can follow the channel here to get notifications when we go live, things like that. That also just helps us in general to have more followers, but we appreciate it. Other than that, we have our Discord that those who aren't in it, if you want to join, you can. And the World Anvil for people who want to look more. So the VODs of the episodes stay up for, this is for you guys too, since you're kind of new to the channel. The VODs stay up for 15 days on my Twitch. So you can go back and check them. It's something like 10-ish or something like that, DJ. It's like 9 or 10. So the VODs stay up for 15 days here. If it's gone from here and you're looking for it, look on my links in my about, because I export them all to YouTube.
Okay.
So that they stay forever, because they disappear off of here and I can't keep them forever. I export them after each session to YouTube so that you can find them there. So if it's not on the Twitch, it means that the 15-day period is passed and that you should check out the YouTube because it'll be there instead.
Good to know.
And by doing that, you can also go back to like a year ago and check out the other sessions or the other campaigns if you really want to. But yeah.
And there's Clear PNG. Yeah, cool.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. I'll whip up a thumbnail for you guys over the next couple days.
Yeah.
Give it a little like kind of background that suits your aesthetic, and throw the banner above you, and give it a good appearance for your thumbnail.
God,
Excellent.
Nugget, it's so good. Really pretty.
I'm bad with jingles. She has a lot of jingles.
Yeah.
Also, if any of you, this applies to any artists that we have, if you have a Twitter and you want to tweet about any of the art that you do, just like at me, or use like a hashtag Grand Learn or something in it, and then I'll make sure to retweet you all, because I want to be able to show off all of your art too. So I feel weird just tweeting the art for you. So if you have a Twitter and you want to show it off.
Oh, voice crack. Cool then.
Just either at me or use hashtag Grand Learning.
Yeah, it's nice to have more artists because we have a few good ones, but then we have also a decent amount of shit posters, so it's good to equal out. You
Luna says that as one of the shit posters.
know? Hey, I'm speaking from experience.
Anyway, I need to hydrate because I came in here with like a small glass of water and I haven't drank anything for like 2 hours. So I'll see you guys in next week.
Yeah, of course. If you want to go get water during a session, feel free. Don't feel like you need to starve yourself or dehydrate yourself. Just let me know that you're taking a water break. It's perfectly fine.
I just forget normally. ADHD brain. Okay, see you guys.
See ya.
Take care.
Alright, I'm gonna pop off too.
Yep. Yeah, we'll wrap things up here then. Very fun first session, everybody. And thank you all for showing up in the chat. It's always nice to have lots of people here. But that about does it for tonight. This was a ton of fun. Session 1 went very well, so I'm looking forward to next week's session 2.
Me too.
So take care, everybody, and you have a good night.
Have a good night, chat.